10-yard run up. Dear! Good ball for Roberto Carlos. Popped into the penalty area towards Zidane. Nani. Rooney! Oh, wonderful! Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Good evening, Sava here from Football Heritage TV. Welcome to episode 35 of the Spurs review. Should be a busy show today. We've got Van der Ven signing this week, Valise signing this week. Harry Kane's had a bid on the table of 120 million euros, depending on what you believe. Spurs have won a game 5-1. We've shown again today that we can't defend for Toffee. And we'll start with Alan from Time Added On. How are you, Alan? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Obviously, been a couple of weeks in the making, but yeah, good to be here and good to see the guys on the panel as well. And then we've got a lot to talk about and quite a lot of positives as well. So it's all good.
Yeah. Lots of positives. We need the negatives though. It's got to get some fire in there. And Danny Kiriakou will be joining us. I told him the show started at 7, so he should be here in about an hour and a half. So it's just all good people.
Did you link that negative to Danny Kiriakou?
Yeah. To me giving Danny loads of time and him still not being able to make it on time. Barry from Shelf Side Spurs. How are you, mate? You well?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I was at the game. It was a good atmosphere.
Good.
And, obviously, we're going to get into it. The stadium was packed with loads of tourists, so Daniel Levy would have loved that. But yeah, look, it was. You only got to beat what's in front of you. It hasn't been the strongest, but yeah, some really like Alan said, some really encouraging, positive signs from. Particularly 2 or 3 players, but we'll get into that a bit later. I won't spoil let's tease the audience tonight.
Oh, teasing. Talk of teasing. I've brought on some absolute sex on legs. Haz from South Fucois. How are you, mate? You well?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Another day, another Tottenham win, I suppose, but look, there's loads of talking points, like you said. We've got to do the the bad stuff with the good stuff at the end of the day. So, overall, thanks for having me on.
No, more than welcome. Smash the like button before we start. Come on, you know the rules by now. Just so you know, we will do a shirt giveaway. Only if I'm going to make it tough tonight. I give them away, and sometimes I don't feel people deserve it. If we get 93 subscribers, it's a big old number.
Come on, people. You can do it.
Just to show you, so we are there on 8707. If that hits 8,800, we'll give away a shirt. And all you need to type into the chat is hashtag Sava123. Hashtag Sava123. Whenever I use my name as one of the words to win, I see loads of people spell it wrong. So it's SAVVA. I think it's nice and simple. Yeah, it's nice and simple. There's only 5 letters and only 3 combined, if that makes sense. Let's start. But we must get to 93, another 93 subscribers, and we need to get to 400 likes. So smash the like. Smash the subscribe. Where to start? Haz, let me start with you. Let's start with the game. Obviously, we played today. The team came out. Happy with the team. Not happy. A lot of people on my show were saying that they wanted to see Solomon instead of Son. They wanted to see Basuma instead of Sarr. But I guess it was, instead of Højbjerg. But I'm guessing it was going to be difficult with Barcelona 48 hours away. What did you make of the lineup?
Yeah, look, the lineup was as expected. I expected to see Basuma, however, in midfield. Apparently, according to reports, he had a slight knock from Singapore. And obviously, the best thing to do if he's got a knock, keep him on the bench, which they did. But Davies, again, for me, at centre-back, look, I know no one wants to see Dyer at the back. I know no one wants to see Sanchez at the back. But we're playing a left back at centre back because simply got no other options. I wanted to see someone else at centre back, but we just don't have the options, do we? Let's be honest. Look, it was.
I thought we were about to get a rallying cry there that Has wants Eric Dyer back into this team with immediate effect.
Absolutely.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what? Has Has behind me in the West Stand of all places, because I was with the mother and father-in-law, so I was in a different seat.
Oh, West Ham Harry.
Huh?
Well, West Ham Harry. West Stand Harry, even not West Ham. I've had a cute. Carry on.
Just no swearing. Just no swearing. Do not demonetize
someone behind me. Someone behind me goes, "Come on, Ange, put Eric Dyer on." I don't know whether he was joking, but it got a laugh. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that just says it all, doesn't it? Really. But no, like, to answer your question, Sava, I think it was a team that we all expected to see. Like others mentioned as well, Solomon, for me, I think perhaps should have started this game, because Son, for me, has looked a bit out of sorts last couple of games again. I know he needs a bit of game time to get back into the swing of things, but Solomon, for me, just looks electric every time he's on the pitch. He just looks like he's going to make something happen, and he did today as well. So, yeah, it was as expected. And they all got 90 minutes. Well, not all of them, but they got to play the second half as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was interesting, Barry. Look, I think a lot of people again were a bit bemused at seeing Kulusevski. I mean, Perisic and Solomon have both been quite good in pre-season, and yet he went with a tried and tested Kulusevski and Son again. And I don't know what you thought. We talked about this earlier on Sean's channel. I didn't think either of them covered themselves in glory in that first half. Certainly. Frustrating, or did you what did you think from being there at the ground?
Yeah, look, I mean, you could see it with Ange, right? Ange, and I said it on a couple of groups. Ange was absolutely tearing into Son and the players on that left-hand side, because they weren't running into channels, they were cutting back inside, they weren't playing the ball. I mean, Adoji for me, when we get to it, was one of the shining lights. He was making runs down on the overlap on the left-hand side, and Son was just cutting in. And you could just see Ange's face was just, he was just like, you could see it. He was going like that. He was throwing his arms down. He was really annoyed. And obviously that came out, kind of when, kind of with his press conference afterwards. And his mate that obviously he's got a great relationship with, turned around and said, "Oh, that was a good performance." And he was like, "No, it was okay." So look, I'm kind of with Has. I think I would have liked Solomon to have started. Son was, I mean,
rubbish.
He was on par with Ben Davies, one of the worst players on the pitch today.
FPL code for anyone asking.
And look, Kulusevski first half wasn't great, but Kulusevski second half,
hang on,
it was much better. I'm not going to go as far as saying he was as good as what he was when he came in, but it was like the shackles were off,
Harry,
and everything else.
Azza,
yes, Sean.
Are you judging Kulusevski entirely on what he did on the ball? Because when we lost the ball in the first half, and bearing in mind that part and parcel of the responsibilities and the requirements or the specificities of people that play in the front line, when you lose the ball in a high line, high presses to get it back, Kulusevski recovered the ball, from my memory, 3 or 4 times in the first half. He shouldered, he used his strength, and he bodied players. I agree with Saba earlier when he said he was poor in the first half, better in the second half. I didn't agree with Saba's usage of the English language when he said atrocious. I think that was over the top. However, I do agree that on the ball he was predictably bad, but off the ball, getting the ball back, recovering that ball high up the pitch, which is massively important attributes to have, he was brilliant in the first half and in the second half. I think people that are reflecting on Decky with massive negativity are focusing on what he did with the ball. When I understand why you would do that, because that's what
That's
you're
his
looking
job.
at.
But yeah,
But
sure,
that's his
No, it's
job.
not just his job. It's
Sean,
not just his job in a high line, high press. Sorry, it's
But
not. He
what
got the
I
ball
would
back. He
say-
won the ball back.
Yeah,
3 or 4
let's
times.
get loads of players in the team that give the ball away but work hard to get it back. Yeah, that's
He
exactly what we
won
want to
it
see.
back. He won it back.
What-
He didn't
what
know.
I
He
will
won it back
say-
from
what
other
I-
people. He won it back from other people
Sean,
as well.
Sean,
Sorry, massively
Sean.
underestimated on that
Sean.
particular point.
What I will say, and for those people, and I don't know what people's thoughts are going forward. And on that press today, I was actually excited to watch that football. Right.
Mhm.
However, if we don't get this defense right, we are going to concede an absolute bucketful. Romero, 9 times out of 10 was nowhere to be seen.
Part of the consequences of playing a high line, mate. You're going to give away chances.
Correct, but my point, but the point was, sure. The point is that I think we can with Van der Ven. I think if Van der Ven and Romero can get it right with and Adoji or Doggy or however you want to pronounce it, it doesn't matter.
Can we all agree on his name? Can we just make a consensus? What are we? Udoji. Is that good? Can we all say that?
Well, the funny thing is, Sean, the announcer in the stadium said Udoji, and then someone else said Udogi. Like twice, he did different things. So whoever
Can we call
he
him
is,
Udoji or Udoji? Can we give it the long O, the O rather than the Og? Can we do that?
We can do that, Sean, for you, yeah?
Just quickly, smash hashtag Sava123 if you want to win a football shirt of your choice. But we do need 93 subs. Really ambitious, like a really ambitious target. So far, I'm pleased to announce we've got 3. So 90 more to go, and we're nearly there. 1 for every minute. Put in hashtag Sava123, and we need 400 likes. We're currently on 147, so we're on target. Look. Guys, I'll come to you, Alan. Like, I thought there were positives. Again, like the other 2 games we've seen, I felt it was a carbon copy. Everything about the 3 games so far has been a carbon copy. Play really nice football, press high, everyone work hard, get undone by a terrible goal, come out second half, and much better. Right? I feel like that's been the story. I don't know if you disagree. I feel like that's been the story of all 3 games. Problem is, this is where I do disagree with Sean. I agree with Barry's point is, yes, there's a consequence to playing a high line. But if you play a high line with players like Romero, players like Emerson Royale, these players are not good enough in the recovery. They are Romero.
Whoa, Sava. You're going on about Emerson Royale. 104 touches, 99% accurate passes.
Today. Emerson was
He's done his homework. He's done his homework.
No.
Emerson's
Right?
coming.
And do you know what? And I wish I'd got it on video, right? He was on the floor, right? He got on the floor. How do you think Emerson Royale got up? I'm not even kidding you. You will not even believe how he got up. He did a flipping flip up onto his feet and was just like, yeah. And I was like, Nora's looking at me next to me. Like every time Emerson's touching the ball, everything, she's looking at me. I'm like, that is why I love him.
I'm confused as to what we're looking for as footballers. Like, I feel like we seem
You're
to not
looking for
want
perfection, mate.
No,
You're looking
no,
for perfection.
No, I'm not. That's a lie. I'm not looking for perfection. But surely, first and foremost, I don't care that he got himself up on a flip. I don't care that these players are making recovery tackles. Great. You're working hard. Brilliant.
Saba,
hang on, let me finish. No, Sean, let me finish. Let me at least make my point. Right?
Okay. All right, then.
When you lose the ball, go and win it back. Recovering. That's brilliant. Every player should do that. But when are we going to start judging players for their positional sense, for what they do on the ball? Like, this is what the top clubs do. The top clubs don't rave about players because they've got an 85% pass rate. They don't rave about players because they've made a recovery tackle. Yeah? Romero is, I'm sorry, woefully...
He had 32 shots on goal today, mate.
Hang on. Okay, but this is, again, you've gone from here to there.
I'm saying the system we play is built to have high possession,
nothing to do with
chances, small conversion.
It's got nothing to do with what I'm talking
about. You're going to lose the ball, and when you do,
it's got nothing to do with the point I'm making. It's got nothing to do with the point I'm making.
It's got everything to do with the point you're going to make.
No, Sean. Right? At the end of the day, yes, you're going to give chances away. I've said this before. Man City give chances away. Of course they do. They play a high line. Barcelona, even in the teams when they're winning a thing, they give chances away. They play a high line.
Correct.
But the problem is those defenders are intelligent enough to know where to be at the right time. Our defenders, I'm sorry, Royale was dreadfully out of position every time they counterattacked. Dreadfully out of position, tucked inside, no idea where his man was behind him. Romero, 3 or 4 times in that first half. He recovered a few times, but 3 or 4 times, the forward got in behind him, and it was like he was looking around like, where's my bloke?
What happens? That's what happens when you
not
play a
an
high line.
excuse.
When you're parked on the edge of your area and you lose the ball, when a mistake happens, and we're not
that's
Man
not-
City, you're going to have mistakes happen. When that happens, if you're playing against a team with tricky, fast forwards, which Shakhtar have got,
The top
and by the
players
way,
know where their
that
man
number
is.
39 was incredible, by the way, incredible. But they popped the ball over the top. And then you're going to sit there and go, well, the positional play is terrible. It's what happens.
No,
That's what happens, bro.
No. This
Can't
is
be everywhere all the time, Sav.
top players know where their man is. A top defender, even if he's beyond you, knows. Go straight away. Romero and Royal were like, what's going on? Now, they made some good
Man
recoveries.
City have never faced balls getting pinged over the top.
That's not what
That's
I'm
what happened today. That's all
no.
that happened today. Every time Shakhtar created something, their centre-back, their left-sided centre-back...
Sean's right. We don't need new defenders. Our defenders are good. They're good. Our defenders are fine.
Don't strawman it by dismissing my point by saying, our defenders are great. Argue the point.
I'm arguing the point. They can't defend.
Every time we got pinged today,
They
their
can't
left-sided
defend.
centre-back got the ball and pinged it over the top to a back four that was hugging the halfway line. There's a half an acre of space behind. That's what happens. That is the consequence of playing
Hang on, let me bring in
play.
Alan. That's not what happens every time. That's an excuse for it to happen every time. It happens a couple of times.
Such bad ball knowledge.
So no,
Sean, sorry. When you're saying such bad ball knowledge, yeah, I'm sorry. I've worked with some of the top coaches in this country. None of them would turn... Hang on, let me finish. You've got to let me finish a point, right? None of them would turn around and go, that's fine, it happens. No, you're working on how do we not have that happen?
So how do you sit there and have a high line but also not have a high line?
Because, oh my God, it's positional sense. Emerson Royale came so far into midfield, a job that he can't do, by the way. He just simply cannot do that role. That every time they put in a ball, even if it was on a high ball, even if it was just along the ground, he was just like, oh my God, I don't know where am I meant to be. Adoji was dragged out as well when he came into the middle. You've got to have top players to play that. You can't play that with these players. You cannot do it. Sorry, Alan. Go on.
So look, I understand what Sean's saying, but I also understand what you're saying. So when we were playing ultra defensive under Conte, you had really bad defenders, all at sea, even there. You're now asking them to play a high line with a defence that we haven't got sorted. What Sav is saying is correct in regards to where Man City. I know what Sean's saying. Man City have balls over the top as well when they stuff like that, but their players are already on the thing like they're retreating because they see it coming. They're anticipating. We're at the point where we've got defenders that aren't doing that. So we're having to make recovery tackles and last-ditch tackles to still get caught out of position because we're not used to defending a high line and we've not improved on this defence, which we've been trying to do all summer. So for me, when you've got a Doji going in the middle and then you've got the gap on the where he's vacated that gap and people hit balls over the top, that's where we're caught out of position that way. When you've got the same with Emerson Royale going in, you're getting balls down the wing and we've got Romero nowhere to be seen, Davies nowhere to be seen. Not because they're bad. Like Romero is a good defender. He's rash and he's stuff like that, but they're out of position because Emerson Royale and Nadoja are out of position because we're playing such a high line and it's completely different to last season, but we haven't corrected that problem. So you're both right, but you're both wanting to be right at the other's expense. So I think...
You know what, Alan? Don't let the splinters fucking affect your ass, your ability to wipe your ass.
Do you know what? I agree. I'll meet in the middle. I'll meet in the middle with you there, Alan. Alan, I'll meet in the middle with you there, Alan. Listen, I agree. It's going to take time. But my point is, I'm not going to sit there and watch Romero do some of the bad things he did today, Royal do some of the bad things, and people go, oh, they played well. You don't get caught out that much, that many times from that average team if you played well. You just simply don't. Man City will get... I don't even know why we're talking about Man City. Man City, the Barcelona, these great teams that do it, they get caught out every now and then. In that first half, every turnover... they went down Romero and Royal's side. Every turnover, they went down their side and got in behind them. A couple of times, Royal got back, made a good tackle. And I even said on my stream, he did well there. So many times, though, they were nowhere to be seen. And if Shakhtar Donetsk had been a half-decent team, they would have got 3 or 4
3
goals.
shots on target versus 20 shots on target.
Right,
I'll take that ratio all day, every day,
listen
in
to
every
the last,
game, any
what's
game.
the last sentence I used? What's the
they're not
last
that
sentence
good.
I used?
Shakhtar aren't that good. The Shakhtar aren't
Yes.
that good.
Better
Yes.
opposition would have.
Shakhtar aren't a bad
Yes.
team, bro. They're a Champions League
They're
team.
awful. They were awful. What do you mean they're not a bad team? Everyone's been
They're a
pumping them
Champions
left,
League
right, and
team.
centre.
They've been in the Champions League the last, 7 years running?
But their team has been decimated. This isn't the same team you think you've been seeing for years in the
So
Champions League.
so you're dismissing the value of the game because we're playing against weak opposition.
Oh my God! Right? No, I can't believe how this.
So we
basic
can't
point isn't
take any
getting in.
learnings from anything positive.
No one
we
said
can't
that.
take it because
Who said that?
you're saying it. I'm telling you right now. 20
I'm not
shots on
saying it.
target against 3, and
But
you're
that's not
saying
what we're
we're
talking
playing
about.
against Shakhtar. It's irrelevant.
No, Sean. Right? If you're going to come on, don't lie. I never said that. I never
you're saying.
said.
I'm inferring
No, Sean. I never mentioned anything about our shots. I didn't mention
I
anything.
mentioned our shots.
Yes,
mentioned
I
our
didn't.
shots.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
and when I mentioned it, you said, "Why, Sean? Why?" What's the last sentence I said? I
Yes,
said
because
Shakhtar are a bad team.
if better teams had played us today, we haven't been tested in pre-season. Let's face it, we've not been tested.
So you can't make the assumption that
Oh
we're
my
not going
God.
to do the same against a good team, then, can you? All we've got to go on is the sample size that we have.
Of course, and it's been bad defensively with the sample size that we've got.
3 shots
That's-
on goal.
Right, but oh my
That's
God,
irrelevant though. That's irrelevant. How many shots?
He's missing the point.
We've played-
I feel like everyone else gets the point. If those teams had been better, if they had been better players, the number of times they went and got in behind, you get punished.
Maybe.
Shakhtar Donetsk
Maybe.
don't have. Oh, definitely, definitely.
You're looking for a reason to be negative. I'm looking for a reason to see the positives from today.
Hang on. No, I'm talking. Right, this is where you do this, Sean. I hate it when you do this.
We're doing it again.
I'm specifically grow up. I'm specifically talking about the defending. I have not mentioned any of the positives going forward yet. We've not got there. I'm talking about the defending. If you defend like that, and if teams breach your backline like Shakhtar did in that first half, and you are playing against Man United, you are playing against Brighton, Aston Villa, Chelsea, you name it, they will pick you off time after time after time. That is not, of course.
What gilt-edged chances did Shakhtar have they didn't take today?
Sean,
that. Oh my God! Is he?
Sean, in pre-season, West Ham cut us open 3 times.
Oh my God!
That's a bad West Ham
Hang on a second. No. Two of those goals were from corner kicks, Alan. But
on your counter attack,
cutting a team open, is it? It's not. It's a completely different argument. Saba's making the argument about our highline defense being vulnerable. You're supporting his argument by referring to a game where we conceded 2 goals from corner kicks.
We conceded 3, but on the counter, we did get cut open by West Ham. It's not like
you're going to get cut open on the counter. That's what happens. That's how Tottenham have beaten Manchester City every time we played them over the last 5 years. They've never scored a goal at White Hart Lane. Why? Because we can cut them open on the counter. That's what happens. There is no perfect system. There is always vulnerability.
No one said there was. I don't know. He's not listening.
The point is, Sean, we're not denying that. The point is that against better opposition who aren't going to take too many touches or hold the ball up or on counter-attack with quality players that will just go past one and bang a goal. Like we're not a thing saying we can't do this and all that. It's just we need the better defense for it. But if we don't get it sorted, if it's just a Van de Ven and Phillips, that's where the problem is, and that's where we've got to try and adjust to accommodate the balls over top by Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle. They will all get joy out of us. We'll have success against lower teams. But these bigger teams will cut us to ribbons if we don't.
That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying.
They will. But I actually think that, like I've been saying, it'll almost be you score, we score, you score, we score. It's not going to be. We're not going to. I don't think we're going to see games where we're going to lose 7 or 8-0. I mean, if that happens now, I'm in the mud. But whatever.
I don't think it'll be 7 or 8, but we will get cut open, Barry.
Yeah. We will, but I think with Van der Ven coming in, I think he will then, him and Romero, if this is the person, the Dutch under 21 captain, if this is the person that can get Romero to stop doing the silly things that he's doing, which means he's not out of position, which means, because what happened was, like you say, Royale was caught out of position because he was playing up and trying to go, obviously on the press. But then Romero didn't use his brain in the same way when Romero went up on the high press. Royale didn't use his brain because they both went up when one of them needed to stay back. Right?
Exactly. This is my point. This is my point. You can't just say we play a high line. This is going to happen every time someone springs you.
But we won't know until we play these teams. So to sit there and say,
of course we know. Of course we know.
No. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Right? We don't know what's going to happen until it happens. Until the night the game's over.
Hold on a minute.
Know it's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go on, Has. All right. I tell you what. If Shakhtar can break us like that, if Shakhtar can get in behind that easily, I must be dumb for thinking that the better teams, the much better teams with much better players will get in behind us and break us. It's just common sense. It's common sense.
They might not, but
they will.
Never know.
You do know.
What makes you think they
That's
won't?
the consequences of playing the system.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, mate.
Not every time a team attacks. No, it's not.
When they lift the ball over the top, that's what's getting in behind his ball.
Barry just called it. Hang on, Barry just called it. Or Alan, one of the guys said it. If you are playing that formation, everyone can't be up. Somebody has got to be on the turn, ready to go back to our own goal.
When you say up, what do you mean up? The defenders were on the halfway line. They were 8 yards short of the halfway line doing their job. But there's 40 yards in behind. When that left-sided centre-back, I forget his name, we'll get it up in a minute, something Lenko, he pinged those balls over the top. And the guy, Dovplab, or whatever his name was, and I forget the guy's name, so I'm going to get him up. Those guys are playing. That is the exact way that you play against a high line. You do it.
Sure.
Tottenham did it for 2 years.
So how do you counter that? How do you counter that?
We can't afford to let people run in behind. Like, what are you talking about?
No. No one said again. You're saying things that no one said.
You said it, mate. You said we're going to get torn apart if that happens against the Premier League team. That is what happened.
Stop changing my sentences. Right? I didn't say.
You expect me to remember every word you say, word for word, and if I don't remember it verbatim,
but then don't make them up. Then don't make them up. Then right? I never said teams are never going to get in behind. Of course they are. But the defender's job is to limit the number of times that happen. From the first time it happened between Royal and Romero, what happens in most teams is you have the conversation and go, right, we've seen what he can do now. Someone's got to be on the turn. Someone's got to drop 5 yards. Someone's got to do something. Every time they knew Royal would be tucked in, they pinged it over, same place every time. They didn't do it on the other side of the pitch. They didn't do it. Why? Because they know Royal is positionally a very bad footballer. People will like him. People can talk to me about, someone in the chat put he had a 99% pass rate. That's not how I'm judging a fullback. I'm not judging a fullback on their pass completion rate. I'm judging them on their positional sense, their defending, their marking. How do they shepherd a player? We are doing it again where we are judging average players and bigging them up. Again, we're doing it every single summer. I heard this all summer last year. All summer, I was called negative last year. Everything I said came true. Why? Because it's obvious. It's common sense. If you don't think better teams punish us for the way we've defended against these 3 teams, who hardly attacked, by the way, hardly attacked and hardly had any of the ball, now imagine teams that do have the ball against us.
Tell me what the system is. Tell me what the system is, Saba. Saba, you've worked with big coaches, right? You're a big coaching guy.
You can mock me all you want. Mock me all you want.
Tell me what the system is.
Mock me all you want. I don't care if you mock me all you want. I won't answer your question if you're going to mock me. Will I?
Tell me what the system. Well, don't answer the question. You know what? Barry has. Alan, tell me what the system is in Saba's mind, where we can have 32 shots on goal, where we can have 70% possession,
nothing to do
and
with
we can't face the opportunity. You can't face a situation where you're going to get ripped apart on the counter-attack. Explain to me that model of football, and I'll adopt it.
Sorry, just quickly, before you guys do that, just note I never mentioned anything about us attacking. Yeah, because sorry, Alan, I'll bring you in here, but I'm
You're
sorry.
giving up on the high line break because suddenly we can't defend against
that's not what I've. That's not. Everyone else in here realizes that's not what I've said, Sean. Other than you, right?
I don't think so, mate.
Yeah,
I think you want your cake and eat it. I think you didn't like the defensive system last year. Suddenly we're playing a different system, and you don't like the fact that there's vulnerabilities.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I don't like the players who play in that system. This is where you've got to listen. This system can be brilliant. This system can be absolutely brilliant. I don't think you can play that high with Romero and Royal, is my point. Neither of them have got the turn of pace to go back. Neither of them are positionally good enough. There's a huge difference. So stop telling people what I do and don't like. I am a big fan of playing this. I grew up studying and watching Barcelona, how Pep had that team playing. Loved it. It's brilliant. His Man City team now, brilliant. You can play that. If you are Tottenham with Emerson Royal and Romero on one side, neither of them have got a lot of pace. Neither of them are good positionally. You've got to be a bit smarter is all I'm saying. So don't make out that I've said I don't like last year's system, I don't like this year's. That's not what I said. Don't make out that I'm not happy that the number of shots we had today. I've not said that. But the reality of it is, smile and laugh all you want. The reality of it is, not in every Premier League game, we're not going to have as open a game as you had today with 30 shots at the opposition goal. There will be teams that have as much of the ball as we had or more. And those teams will find it easy to go through that system if you do not buy a better right back and have quicker defenders in there. Yes, Van de Ven will help, but it's not enough. That is the point I'm making. So stop pretending I'm making another point. I don't like it when people pretend I'm saying something I'm not. I've just told you what I'm saying, all right? Sorry, Alan, go on, mate.
You pretty much just said exactly what I was going to say.
Right. That's what I was saying. People making up, oh, you don't like that we had loads of shots.
Anyway, Sava,
I haven't even talked about that yet.
Should we talk about how rubbish Højbjerg and Son were today? Can we talk about those two wastes of space? Because they were far worse than Emerson Royal today. You know I'll die on that hill. You know I'll die on the Emerson Royal hill.
You're dying on a bad hill, but yeah.
No. Højbjerg and Sonny today were Højbjerg was anonymous, right? Absolutely anonymous all game, right?
I agree. He's rubbish.
And Sonny, like I said at the start, right? Ange was absolutely ripping into him. He is, whatever is going on, right, with Sonny, he should not be. I don't want him to start against Brentford. I'm sorry, he cannot start.
I agree with both those things. I've never said. No,
I wasn't saying that you weren't.
I was literally talking about. I was literally talking about Royal and Romero. I've not moved anywhere near up the pitch yet.
Okay, Ben Davis. What about Adoji then? If we're going to talk about defenders, I thought he was pretty decent. Adoji, apart from his positional play in some, in some of the defensive, but going forward, he was pretty decent on that left-hand side.
I thought he was brilliant on that left-hand side. It weren't just on when he was doing the overlaps. When he was doing inverted, he was making up the numbers in midfield. So when they were trying to press out and playing along the ground, you had Adoji, you had Sarr. I didn't see much of Højbjerg, I've got to admit, and I'm not a big Højbjerg fan, but I like loads of people liked because he gives it a lot of energy and pats his chest and points a lot. People go, he's a player, and he's not. But I saw the majority of the Doji and Sarr breaking up play, breaking the counter, and obviously that enabled. Kulu was doing it as well, as was Emerson Royal when we were high up and it was working. You were cutting out all these balls and you kept them pinned in. But Højbjerg for me, it's not the biggest problem area in regards to we need the defence sorted first. If he leaves and you get number 6 in, that's an added bonus. But I just don't think he's as good as people say. For me, Adoji, I think he's an exceptional young talent that we need to get the best out of. He had a great match. I think for me, one of the players of the match was Sarr. I thought he was absolutely sensational for a young lad. Composed, caused all sorts of problems, getting forward the ball, getting back, controlling the midfield. He's one that I think
100%,
underutilized by Conte. I don't understand why Conte dropped him, but he is one of them players. If you nurture him and get the right amount of minutes into him at the right time.
He's the six. He's the six we've been looking for, isn't he? Just needs a bit more time to figure it out.
I think, yeah, I agree with Sean. You need
add a little bit of aggression into his game there, Alan. Add a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of a fight, a Casemiro edge, and he's got the ability to cover the ground. He can pass. He can head. He's tall. He's got vision. He's got stamina, pace, aggression. I think if you can add a little bit of aggression, I think you've got the six there, maybe. But it's not ready yet. He's not ready.
Look, I agree to that, but I think over time, yes, you've got it. I don't think it's for this season, but I think like if you get more game time and you work on it, because Ange just said they need to know where I want to win out position. They need to know the position they've got to be in. I think more tactical awareness from him, like in regards to sharpening that. I think you'll find. I think he's a good player in the making. I think you need to nurture him well, and I think we've got a baller on our hands. David doesn't agree. I see him shaking his head. So it's all good.
No, it's not. I just think we've seen such little of him. I feel like we're doing it again. So that sentence, I feel like we're doing it again. We've seen literally how many minutes of football from this guy, and already he's being piped up to be this brilliant player. I think he had a really good second half. I think first half he worked hard. As I said already, he gave the ball away in silly areas earlier in the game. I thought he grew into the game. You can see he's going to be a good player. Of course, you can see he's going to be a good player. I'm just not a fan. I see this every year at Spurs. We hype up these players and hardly any of them ever come good. I don't jump on the bandwagon until we've seen them play 10, 15, 20, 30 games in a row and be good. And I'm not knocking him, but when people put these players on a pedestal, they're normally the fans to knock them the moment it doesn't go well. I think give him time. I feel sorry for the lad. I feel sorry. I feel like Conte should have utilised him at some point in the last 2 years. I think he's better than Skip. I'm going to say that. I think he's a better player than Skip and should have been playing instead of Skip. I just think everyone just needs to calm down a tiny bit. We need a proper number 6. We need a proper number 6, and this guy should be learning his trade this season.
I don't disagree with that, Saba. I haven't changed my mind on the fact that we are missing a proper number 6. I agree. If you give me Ibrahim Sangare, Frank Kessie, I'm not even a massive fan of Frank Kessie as a player, but I think he can play the 6. However, what my point was, I think Alan's point was that Sarr is showing the attributes, the characteristics, the traits of a player that maybe this time next year,
I agree,
could be the perfect 6 for this system.
And I agree with that. I suppose, look, I'm just cautious. I've seen this so many times. I'm sure you guys have, where players come in, have a few games, and they're blown up to be this amazing player. I just think I like to give players time. Let's give them some time. Let's see him start games in competitive games. Let's see him against top midfields in competitive games, 5-10 games in a row, bed him in. Then I'll jump on the bandwagon. But I remember people did this after the Crystal Palace game. I'm not blaming fans for this, but he played well against Crystal Palace in a 30-minute cameo, if you remember. Then played against AC Milan, and then we never saw him again. And it was like, why was he not starting? I agree. I do agree with Alan. Haz, let me bring you in here, mate. Sorry, you've been patient, and Sean and I have been at it all day. So, by the way, everyone in the chat trying to pit me and Sean against each other, this is what we do. Everyone wants us to agree, but you love it when we disagree, right? You love it. There are 1,150 people in the chat, which is absolutely insane. But as I said, we will do a shirt giveaway if we get to 8,800 subscribers. There we are, 8,714, 86 subs. There's 1,184 of you in here. Subscribe and type in hashtag Sava123 for a chance to win a shirt of your choice. And only 22% of you have smashed that like button, so please do. Haz, let's look at some of the positives going forward. I don't really want to talk about Højbjerg. I think we've all seen the videos of Ange berating Højbjerg. So as much as Ellie can tell us that he's really good and does the job really well, Postecoglou's reaction on the touchline tells you a completely different story. Going forward with Maddison and Kane, that link-up looked really good. I thought Maddison had an excellent game, Haz. What did you make of him?
Yeah, for me, there's quite a few positives, actually. Despite what some of the chat is saying that would be negative, but we are going to get into the positives now. For me, Maddison was outstanding again. He's probably one of the only few players who's had a really good pre-season with us over the last 3 games. He's really, I mean, look, I've watched him play for Leicester and, you know, I thought, yeah, good player. But having seen him at Spurs, his ball control, his close control, the way he tries to get forward, always looking up for a pass, trying to dribble, he's just fantastic. Today was no different. And he got his assist today as well. Lovely ball to Kane, who headed the ball in. You know, if Kane ends up staying, if we have a link up like that throughout the season, and if Son finds his feet again, and we've got others around to chip in as well, I think we'll be okay. But for me, Maddison, for 40 million, you could say 30 million with Winks offsetting 10 million of it, is fantastic bit of business for me. That, for me, has to be the best bit of business we've done this season. Other talking points for me, Kulusevski, first half was a bit meh. Second half, improved. His output was much better in the second half. I thought he played all right. And Sarr as well. For me, look, Sarr just needs a bit of time, I think. He's not the finished article. We shouldn't overinflate players' egos, if you know what I mean. We just need to let them develop. And for that, it just needs game time. Because ultimately, like what Savile was saying, we do end up hyping up these players. It happened with Skip as well. He had a great season at Norwich, and then he was supposedly going to come to the Premier League and be this, you know, all singing, all dancing defensive midfielder. But I've not witnessed it. So yeah, he just needs a bit of time. There's glimpses there. He likes to get forward. You know, he had a great shot today, which the keeper saved. For me, I think potentially we've got a great player, but potentially. Vicario as well today. Again, I think he pulled off a great save in the second half. And it's a bit too early to judge Vicario, but he's been let down by a really bad defence in front of him, in my opinion. Solomon, for me, when he come on, absolutely electric. You know, you can see, I mean, I wasn't at the game today, but type of player that when he's on the ball, the crowd stand up. What's he going to do? You know, is he going to beat his man? Is he going to get in, sort of cut inside? For me, you know, I don't know whether he'll be starting games or an impact sub, but, you know, he's got the makings of a cult hero at Tottenham with Solomon. He's just got that something about him, like almost like Aaron Lennon-esque, if you know what I mean, where he runs at the defence and is very direct. Absolutely love him. And yeah, look, I've got to talk about Udogie because I thought he was fantastic today. If you want someone who's got pace, who's got power, you know, who's got that recovery in him as well, I think we've got absolutely fantastic player in our hands. And I think the best thing we did last season was load him out to Udinese, where you've got loads of first team football over there. He's come back now. He looks even more mature. And he's just ready to go. You can see it. He's starting every game, you know. So for me, absolutely, he's a must at left back. Obviously, when Van der Ven comes in as well, you know, that sort of left-hand side is going to be secure, you'd think. But with two pacey players, Van der Ven and Udogie, it's a must for this high line, if you ask me. If we talk about that lot down the road, they spent 40-odd million on Timber. And I watched him today, and the way he got up and down with, you know, that pace, that power, they can play the high line. You know, they'll be fine. They've got players. They've got Saliba. They've got Timber. You know, I think going back to the argument earlier on, I think it's rather than we're going to get cut up every time, I think the word you need to use is a risk, sort of, that you'll take the system. It is a risk. It's a gamble. But obviously, if you've got the players like City, they've got Rico Lewis, who sort of holds back, joins in with a 3 at the back. There's players that sort of positionally are much better than what we have. Hence, they can play that.
Just quickly, sorry, it makes me laugh. Right, first of all, people, everyone in the chat, like some people are going off to last word on Spurs for positivity. We've had one subject about defending, which I said was negative. We haven't even got to some of the other stages yet, and people are like Rupert saying, I haven't said one positive today. I've literally just said I thought James Maddison was absolutely brilliant. I thought Solomon was good when he came on. Scarlett scored a fantastic goal, brilliant for his confidence. I thought Vicario made a couple of good saves there. I think he made a brilliant save in the second half.
We haven't even touched on Kane yet.
Yeah, I haven't touched on
Yeah,
Kane
no.
yet.
Just
Give me
Sava,
a chance,
Vicario,
people.
Sava, on Vicario, and you wouldn't have seen it unless you're at the game, right? He was shouting and berating at the defence, not only when they were defending, but when they were up at the corners, telling them that they were out of position.
Like Barry.
When Ben Davies in the second half, they got that chance and he was out of position, then they stopped for a sub or an injury or something. He ran up to Ben Davies on the halfway line and was literally telling him, Ben Davies was like, yeah. And he's like, no, Ben, I don't care if I've been here 5 minutes. You're wrong. You're out of position. You need to do your job. And you could hear him. And I've seen more. I've seen more in that 90 minutes from Vicario in terms of trying to get the players to try and to find this new system or to be in the right positions or what have you. And he gets it. Now, I get it.
That 30-second spell, when he put in that absolute world-class save, when he tipped the ball over the top, and then from the corner kick, then went and I think it was a corner kick, or maybe it came back. I forget how it happened, but then he goes that I forget what's that guy's name. He was like a Lutinho or something. He was like the tall black midfielder who had that ability to dribble. Like that guy's got his daddy Sarr on steroids. Running through, he slotted the ball through to the other fella. 20 seconds after making that mesmerical save, Vicario then gets down and dispossesses that fella at his feet. I think that moment, that minute of Vicario's career thus far is going to be so crucial for that guy's confidence, because in the first half, Vicario was all over the place. His confidence was absolutely like he didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He came out to try and intercept, then he pulled back. He looked like a shambles. But then in the second half, when he made that save and then followed up with that second one 30 seconds later, from then on, he was a different beast. He was like, I agree with you, Barry. He was commanding, he was talking, he was shouting at people. I think that one save, brilliant, and then the second one, I think he calmed down after that. Before then, he's looked like a little bit of a headless chicken. Doesn't know.
That's right.
Just a little bit nervous, right? But to do it in front of the home crowd and to get that round of applause when that happened is such an important moment for Tottenham this season.
What I mean. That's what I mean when you're sitting there, and I'm not going to say it's the eye test or what have you, but you see things that you don't see from stats, you don't see from the highlight reel, you don't see from everything else. When I was looking up and I was seeing this 19-year-old going at someone that's been there 10 years or however many appearances, I know, Savvy, we spoke about this a couple of few streams ago, with all those things, to have the confidence to go up there and say that to that person. Like literally, when we were scoring, he was running up to the halfway line and celebrating with the team. Like, this is like nothing we've ever seen.
He seems on it. He seems on it, Barry. Like, what I noticed is he seems alert. He's ready. He's on the edge of his box. Whereas Hugo was a little bit more of a, as he got on, was a bit more stick to your 6-yard box. He came out. I think people are trying to find reasons to not like him. If I'm honest, like when I was doing my watch along earlier, people were going, "Oh, he was a bit dodgy there," and I was like, what? I didn't think that Vicario did anything bad today. He came out and smothered that guy who went through on goal. Thought he did that well. He couldn't do anything about the goal. The goal he couldn't do anything about. And then that save, point blank in the second half, I thought was absolutely tremendous. I think he's going to be a really good goalkeeper. I just hope we don't hang on every little thing that he does and try and make him out to be a bad keeper, because I think I don't know. Haz, what do you think of Vicario? I think he's good.
Look, I think he's been talked up by some absolutely worldies in Buffon, in other players as well have talked him up. I think it's going to be quality. You can see it. He's only just joined the team, but we need to give him a bit of a chance. First game in front of a home crowd as well. There's going to be nerves there. But from what Barry was saying as well, if he's got the confidence to be barking out orders and calling out players that have been there 10 plus years, you can see what sort of, goalie he's going to be. Because I think what we've lacked before is that sort of commanding presence, that commanding goalkeeper, where it's like, look, if you're effing up, I'm going to tell you about yourself, And for me, I think he's got all the makings of a good goalkeeper. But like you said, we need to just get off his back. If mistakes going to be made, look at like Melier at Leeds, right? He was talked up. He was conceding goals left, right, and centre. Doesn't necessarily make him a bad goalkeeper, but it's just sometimes confidence is a massive issue. You see him play. You see Vicario play at Empoli. He was pulling off some stunning saves at Empoli. That's not just off the highlight reels that I've seen through watching Serie A last season as well. He was talked up on the Italian football shows as well. So for me, I think we've got a great goalkeeper potentially. Again, I'm not going to talk him up and say he's like a world-class player at the moment because he's not. But he's at the right place, I think, with the right manager who
I agree.
seems to like utilising younger players, giving them a chance. So, had this been under Conte, I don't think he would have got the same chance, if I'm being honest with you. So, I'm not trying to slag off Conte.
I will, don't worry. I will, don't worry.
No. I'm just trying to say, like, totally different manager, Sava. You know what I mean?
I know.
Manager. But like I said, he's going to get his chance here. What I like about Spurs this coming season, right, is that I think we're going to be giving these youngsters a chance. All right, your Sarrs, your Vicarios, Idojis, they're all going to get their chances this year. So hopefully this is a new direction we're going in. But the one thing I will say is fans can't sort of get on the manager's back if things start going south. We need to give it a bit of time. We need to let things happen naturally and see where it goes. But for me, I think at that price, for someone that Bayern Munich were after, Napoli were after, I believe, there were a few other clubs after him as well. I think potentially we've got a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan, let me come to you and then I'll come up to you, Sean. I want to go back into the Maddison piece because for me, James Maddison, somebody said was the best signing we made this summer. When he signed, I did a video and said, I think this could be the most important signing we've made in a decade. And people laughed at me at that point. But I truly believe that this is everything we have been missing. A player that likes to get the ball in that 30-yard area outside the penalty box, always ready on the turn, always wants to receive it, even if he's got players around him. Happy to spray it to the right, to the left, happy to play the through balls, will try and have a dig if he can, and isn't scared to try and tiptoe his way out of situations, hence winning the penalty. Nice little bit of skill, drag back, penalty, kick. I think this guy is going to be our best player this year. Just my opinion. But what do you make of Maddison and what the impact he can bring to Spurs?
So for me, we've been missing a player like him since Eriksen. Like you said, at times he was in that little pocket space. He was pulling the strings, like you say, simple balls, left or right or down the middle. It was being able to be composed in that tight area, take half a yard, go past the player and still pass. Harry Kane can drop deep and spray them balls, but he's not good. Harry Kane can't do like the 10 roll, like in those little tight areas. He can drop deeper and spread long balls or diagonal control play, but we haven't had that type of player. For me, from what I saw of Maddison today, he's everything we've been looking for to enable Kane to, if Kane's staying by the look of it, is to enable Kane to be on the front foot. It's no coincidence that he played today the way he did, Maddison, linking up with Kane. And Kane scored. I know it was only pre-season friendly. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but Kane was able to score 4. He hasn't scored 4 in a game since I think it was, Wolves on the final day under Poch. First hat-trick since Huddersfield in 2018 or something like that. So it's no coincidence that you're able to free up one of the best number 9s or one of the best strikers in world football to do what he does. Goes to show if we could have had Maddison straight off after Eriksen, what else could we have seen from Kane in the years previous? Yeah, he's got all the goals he's got, but could he have had more? For me, Maddison, I think, is an absolute brilliant buy. I don't know if that was to me or to the comment, but Maddison's a brilliant buy. It's what we've been looking for so long. And like I said, it feels like we're finally addressing the problem areas we've had.
Yeah.
Albeit defence, which looks like we're getting sorted now, but we've not had anyone to fit an Eriksen role since Eriksen left. So typical Spurs takes 4 years, but we've got there, and it looks like to be the right player for that role. Absolutely sensational performance today, and let's just hope he continues this performance. And if this is anything to go by, him and Kane, that link up, just could be the thing that we'd be looking for to add that extra attacking threat. Because more often than not, when Spurs have been having the ball like under Conte or Mourinho, it's been slow side to side stuff, taking time to be able to pick the ball. Whereas Maddison, at times they picked out that ball, and that first ball, like within the second, has picked out a pass going forward that's been able to get people to break the lines. Where we've not had that. The only person that's been able to try and do that previously was like Lo Celso, who wasn't good at it, or Dembele that didn't really do much with it. We haven't had that. So for me, critical buy, sensational bit of business as well. Like guy in the middle, Has? Yeah, said earlier on in regards to getting 10 million for Winks going the other way. Yeah, for me, brilliant piece of business. Probably one of the best bits we've done this window.
Alan,
Yeah.
can I just add on that, Alan? Also, what it means, if Kane is staying, it means that we're not overly reliant on Son as well to have that link-up play, because we've got Maddison in there now who can sort of thread those balls through. We're not so overly confident on Son, which is a good thing. We've been crying out for that for the last 2 seasons, or since Eriksen left at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, let me come to you just quickly before I do. Wow, there's so many comments in the chat saying such lovely things about me and you, Sean. Guys, it's just a football debate. If you've never seen me and Sean debate before, that's what we do. It's not negative. It's what we do. After this is finished,
love it.
Sean and I will speak.
We're doing it again. We're doing it again.
We're doing it again. And do you know what's made me laugh, guys? Sorry, what's made me laugh, right, is all the people going, negative, right? You talk about a positive and they're still saying, oh my God, Sava doesn't like this, Sean doesn't like. It's like you're still talking about it in the chat. Like, guys and girls, smash the like button. There's 1,050 of you in here, which isn't bad for us negative people that have just been praising Vicario and Maddison, and we're about to praise some other players as well. There's only 337 likes though, which is really poor considering. Now that's negative. And on the subscriber count, if we can get another 68 subscribers, we will be giving away a shirt, and all you have to type in is #Sava123. Mr. Negative, who does all these giveaways and all this money for charity. Oh, boo-hoo, I'm so negative. Such a horrible bloke, Sava. Go and support Arsenal. What's it like down the Emirates? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Sean, sorry, I had to get off my chest. Sean, what did you make of Maddison today? I felt like it looked like the last couple of games. I thought he showed glimpses, but today felt to me a bit more of an all-rounded full performance from him.
Mate, I first and foremost, the only thing negative about my day is not engaging with Sava. It's losing a £50 bet to Henry.
You did, didn't you?
What was the bet?
On Arsenal beating City, and he's been winding me up. Like at the 85th minute, he sent me a message saying, "Oh, what's your bank details?" or something like that, like, "Oh, the money's yours." And then once that winning penalty comes in, he goes, "Easy fucking money, sorry, easy money, easy money." I'm like, "You absolute git! There's no easy money there, bro. You were out of it for 5 minutes to go. Lucky for Henry, unlucky for me. That's what happens." But Maddison, mate, sorry if I swore. I hope I haven't demonetized you, Sam.
You're right. You're right. You could.
The Maddison performance today was extraordinary. I've never seen him put in a better shift. There was things I've seen about him. There's a player that I knew, and there's the player that I didn't know. I never had Maddison down as a guy who had that tricky footwork, that ability, that like almost like ninja level speed of feet. One of those, and there was a moment, it didn't quite. I said it on the stream I was on. It didn't lead to a goal, but it led to a chance. The footwork that he put in was quicker than and reminiscent of Lucas Moura in Ajax. I think it was the first goal he scored or the second goal when Onana fumbled the ball and he managed to pull it out and then dance around 2 or 3 players in the box and then put it in the bottom locker. I'm sure you will all remember the goal. There was a moment today that was very reminiscent of that. I thought James Maddison was absolutely everywhere. If you're talking about fluid rigidity or rigid fluidity, so these two terms that I'm throwing out quite a lot because I like the sound of it when I saw someone put it out on Twitter. I think James Maddison today was everywhere and nowhere. He was untrackable. There was no GPS that could follow this guy. He was on the left when you needed him on the left. He was playing with Decky when you needed him over on the right-hand side. And then he was in the box. This guy today, I said to myself, wow. I knew he was good. I didn't know how useful he can be. And if I'm entirely honest, I think his performance alongside Harry Kane's ability to play that 9, I feel like if there's any way possible, and I've been a proponent, I put my neck on the line and I said, I feel like Harry Kane should leave. We need the money, time to go, whatever. And I've got criticised. People in the comments were saying, you can't, like, Sean, like, you're in the mud because you said that Harry Kane can't play this system. I said, I never said that. Never said he can't. I said he can play any system. What I said was losing him is going to impact you less in this system than any other system. He's adaptable, of course he is. But watching him and Harry Kane today, if Daniel Levy can pull a masterstroke here and find the money to go and get tap sober without having to sell Harry Kane.
Agreed.
If we could finish the window, get rid of everybody else that we don't need, if we can go and get a Tappy Tap or an Aymeric Laporte or someone like him, someone like them, and not have to sell Harry Kane. If Harry Kane stays, I think Harry Kane could have his record goal-scoring season with Maddison behind it. I think he could score 36 goals plus, and I think that Tottenham could do bits. We're not going to do it unless we go and get a centre-back, but Maddison's performance today was absolutely extraordinary, and Harry Kane can be the beneficiary of it, not the victim of it, if they can work together. And the two of them are best mates. You can see every time you see them on media, like when they're walking into the stadium, when they're walking out, they are mates, right? You can see that they're best, like they're really good friends, probably golf together and all that. I just think if there's any chance now that Daniel Levy can show us for once a little bit of like magical ownership, leadership,
a bit of ambition,
whatever. Do whatever you got to do.
Push that boat out. Go and get
the centre back you need, right? Go and get go and get Tappy Tap. Go and get Laporte. Stick him in there. Don't sell Harry Kane. We can do bits this year. We could do bits. Is that positivity
Sean,
for you?
And Sean,
is that positive enough for you?
For all the people that call me negative, Sean, how many shows have you and I done together where I've actually said I think we're 3 players away from Champions League? I said if we get Van der Ven, a tap sober, and the number 6 like Sangare, I believe we could go and get it. But for me, it's that triangle in front of the goal, the 2 centre halves and the number 6.
I don't expect Daniel Levy to go and get both of them, right? But if you can if you sell Harry Kane, maybe you can. If you keep Harry Kane, maybe you just go and spend a little bit more money, Daniel, Joe, whoever's doing it, whoever's pulling the strings, go and get the centre back. I think we can maybe cope without the 6. I'd still love a 6, but I think maybe we can cope with what we have if we can get one decent centre back in. And then
I agree.
I'll settle for that.
I agree. Just quickly, I'm gonna come to you, Barry. Just before I do, Gav Marcus, I saw what you wrote about me and Sean's stream when I left. Funny how people think you can't read comments once you've left the stream. And here he is. Ask Alan about Scarlett. He was saying earlier that he isn't good enough. The kid's 18. I mean, let's be fair. He's not good enough to start, is he? Let's be honest. He scored a good goal.
So the comment is that sell Kane. He's Kane's replacement. He's not Kane's replacement.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He's not. Yeah. That was the comment. He's not going to be his replacement this season.
He's got to go out on loan, right?
Yeah.
He needs to go out on loan somewhere, bag himself 15 or 20 goals in League One or the Championship, come back again with another year of experience, and then see where we're at.
He needs to be the main man somewhere. He needs to be the main man
for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
For sure. If you've got Kane, Richarlison, and Valise now coming into the club, you know, he should go out on loan and get some minutes somewhere. But he's got a cracking
spectacular finish, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'll come to that in 1 second. Just before we do, sorry, so bad of me. Jamie Allen has said, Ange is a breath of fresh air. This I agree with. I love the manager. I have no problems with Ange Postecoglou at all. Thank you so much for the super
just
chat.
on that, before you move on to the next one, just on that particular quick point, Ange is a breath of fresh air. Is it wrong of me to say that there's a lot of content creators out there that are still hanging on to this hat of theirs that Conte wasn't the problem?
Oh yeah, can I?
Right, hang on. Can I? I've got about 12 super chats. Can we have that as the subject? Yeah. Otherwise, we're shouting out. By the way, people, very tight on the likes and subscribers tonight. There's 1,044 of you in here. Only 374 likes. We're giving you debates and rows and positive and negative and everything, and only 15 new subscribers. And there's over 1,000 of you in here. Smash the subscribe button, people. I'm going to put the I'm going to put the link into the chat. You don't have to leave. You just have to click on that button and it will ask you if you would like to subscribe or not. People, be nice. The super chats, that link is in there now. Don't forget, hashtag Sava123, 65 more subscribers. We give away a shirt. It's free. Simple. Graham 30 has said, big up Sava on the panel. Graham, big up to you as well. Much love. Koala J Official has said, sorry I'm late. Is that Ange on the top right?
It's his brother Range. It's his brother Range.
Yeah. Range Postecoglou, the famous cricketer. We have also got Loves Music is in the chat and said, ladies, chill the beans. It's Tottenham. All right, Listen, do you want a show?
We're putting on content. We're putting on a show for you.
Right. Do you want a show? Like I've seen you go to it and everyone's going, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree as well. And it's all nice. You don't want that, do you? But big up Loves Music. Daniel Montandon, always a big supporter of the channel, said, got to make Sava right on the defence. You are going to concede the chances with the way you play, but the defenders still have to have awareness and reading of the game, in my view. Agreed, Daniel. Don't worry. We'll teach Sean one day. Don't worry about that. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Yeah, I pretty much had the same, and Sean had a go at me about splinters in my arse. Can you not do the same with that guy?
No, not when he's putting in super chats like that.
Yes, Daniel. You incredibly generous side-sitting splinter up your arse. No, fan. Well done, mate. You're very generous, but you're also on the fence right next to Alan.
It's a good fence, that. Steve D has said Sean also had 30 shots today. Big up.
Nice
Loves Music has said under Conte we wouldn't have scored 5 today. We're going to get into that conversation in a minute. East London Gooner as well. Big up from an Arsenal fan. A massive super chat said, good evening, Sava on the panel. This donation is for the British Heart Foundation. My 3-year-old son has a heart condition called pulmonary stenosis. We watch you every morning. Listen, thank you so much. Just in case anyone didn't know, I did say earlier that all of my super chats from today's live watch along and this evening I would give to the Ukraine disaster appeal, but obviously I will take this £20 and put this to the link that I do every month for British Heart Foundation. So thank you very much. I hope everything is as well as it can be with your son. Keep watching me in the mornings.
Good luck, bro.
Sorry if I'm too negative, but hey, when Spurs make me positive, they'll make me positive. So thank you so much. And dare I say, well done to you lot for today without the Spurs fans all jumping on me. No, I'm not saying it. I'm not allowed to say it, but well done for something.
It's a major trophy.
And Jonas Hare has said, son as a starter or bench. For me right now, Solomon starts. That is the topic, Jonas, after the topic we're about to have. Okay, so we'll come back to this. Thank you very much. Much love. Keep smashing the subscribe button. 4 more of you have. Just boom, boom, boom. It's nice and easy. Right. So
Conte.
Yes. So okay. I didn't bring this up. Can we just note I didn't bring this up?
Allow me to make my case.
Go for it. Go for it.
Don't want to call anyone out, right? But there's a lot of content creators that still hang their hat on this narrative that Conte wasn't the problem. Conte shouldn't have been sacked. Other things were the problem. I think it's the most ludicrous stance to take. I think it reeks of people that don't want to be wrong and that will double down on problems. Conte could have had far more out of this squad. We could have seen far better football. We could have scored far more goals if there was less rigidity and more fluidity to the system, to the style. We've got the players that could do it. We've improved in the summer, but we had a far better system last year. We had just as good signings last summer. They weren't utilized well enough. Anybody that still hangs their hat and still dies on the fence or dies on that hill that Conte wasn't the issue, I think needs to check themselves and recognize that Conte was massively holding us back with our football, with our opportunities, with our options, with our football style, and with ultimately the outcomes. I'm sorry, Conte is living off of a different era and living off of the successes that he generated from different styles, different scenarios. And I think that now Andrew's come in and within 3 preseason friendlies have shown what this squad is capable of.
Look, Barry, let me come to you first. Look, listen, let me add one tiny bit onto that. For me, I don't even think it's about the content creators that are saying that. I get hundreds of people a day in my chat.
All right, well, not just content creators, but you know what I mean. People
yeah.
generally.
I know what you mean. I get so many that come into my chat every day that want to talk to me about Conte, and you drove Conte out. Well, I mean, I didn't. I'm not sitting on the board, but you know, Barry, where do you sit with this? Because Sean and I both said the same thing last year. This is one thing that we really do. We either really agree or really disagree. That they're as bad a defenders as we had last year. We had more than enough talent to attack teams, and we were told that we couldn't. We've already seen in 3 pre-seasons that, okay, you're going to concede goals, to my point earlier, but that you can attack teams and have a lot of possession. Where do you sit with this?
Yeah, look, I think I agree. And just your friend VK's in the chat. VK.
Oh, brilliant.
Sean did not say he was aiming that at anyone. So can people in the chat?
Yeah.
Because this happened the other day, right? And it was Sean said this. Unless you hear Sean say it from your mouth, do not assume what Sean, Sava, Alan, Haz, or me is saying. Okay.
Because by the way, on that other topic, I didn't say what was said that I said. Never did. But I'm not going to respond to that nonsense because it's irrelevant. But
so look, guys, look, for me, how we can go from what we saw for the last 3 years, not just under Conte, but under Jose as well, how we can go from what we've seen in 3 years with people that are supposed to be the messiahs, the gods of football management that can go and turn water into wine or whatever people think. People in the chat, I said, not content creators, people are saying, and we've seen what we've seen in the last 3 games, when actually it's not really 3 games because the other 2 games were against the pub team from down the road and most players only got 45 minutes in each game, right? So how we can see that, I just can't see how people can't see that Conte was a massive issue in this whole situation. Yes, maybe he shouldn't have got hired. I get that. However, he's the manager and he has to, his job as the manager, like my job as a manager in my job, is to motivate people. If someone does something wrong, I am not going to go out in front of the world after a game and absolutely lay into the players because it's not going to get the reaction that I want. Conte should realise, like Ads realises, there are times when you need to do that, but you do it in a certain way. You know how things tick. You know how these players tick. You know how to manage them. Conte does not know how to manage people. Conte gets given what he wants, players and everything else, and then he goes and gets what he wants, and then he gets the trophies. I don't believe that Conte can go into any side, and that was proven at Spurs, where he came into Spurs. He was happy, remember he was happy with what he had, but he couldn't turn that water into wine. So, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, interesting. Let me come to you know me.
It's wearing a Spurs shirt. Liverpool Sport are wearing a Spurs shirt.
Oh, shocking. Alan, let me come to you on that. Look, the whole Conte thing. Listen, bearing in mind, I just want people to know I didn't bring this up. Look, it is 3 games. We've only seen 3 games, but you've already seen from the first minute against West Ham, we saw from the first minute that we went and camped ourselves in their half. It was that positive mindset of let's not all drop back. So again, I'll repeat myself. We're going to concede goals with these bad defenders. It's going to happen. I get that. But this was given as the reason why we weren't allowed to play any form of football.
Yeah.
Now people are still using that. Like people in my chat, I don't care about content creators. People come into my chat every day going, oh, but Sava, Conte won this and he did this with Victor Moses and this with Ashley Young. And I don't care about that. I care what I saw Alan with what he did at Spurs. And it was some of the worst football I've ever seen.
Yeah, Sav, I'm not specifically talking about Conte. I'm talking anybody.
Yeah, no, I know.
Wherever you are in the world. Bugsy Malone has got a soft spot for Conte. I've been telling her for the last 6 months that he wasn't the right guy for the club. And she doesn't believe me. She's always barking up the wrong tree when it comes to her ideologies on Tottenham. And for me, I'm just saying that anybody who thinks that Conte was like just hard done by, that he was wrong to be fired. I just think the whole thing is just you're indentured into your narrative because you don't want to be wrong. Look up, wake up, open your eyes, recognize what we're capable of, look forward to what we can, and try and be a little bit less, I don't know, unipolar with your vision and see what is possible. Yes, we're still going to make mistakes. Yes, the team is far from perfect. Blah, 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 blah. Even if we were to go and get a perfect backline, we're still going to concede goals. Man City don't finish the season with 0 goals conceded, and they've got almost close to the perfect team. It's going to happen. But just recognize that we are willing and capable now of doing better things than we've seen over the last 2-3 years. And I think that's something to be celebrated, not something to be pooed on, which is what I think some people on Twitter, some people in everywhere you look are doing. That's all I'm saying.
No, look, I mean, I have to completely agree. So, full disclosure, when we appointed Conte, I was like, we've got a great manager now in charge. They've got to have appointed him for giving him what he wants so that we can do play the football he wants to play, because it's not going to be pretty, but we can do that, and then we should be able to kick on from there and maybe get a trophy and all that. That's probably how I saw it. But unfortunately, nowadays in football, you have people that just can't admit they were wrong. I'll do it now.
I saw your show yesterday, Alan. I saw it, mate.
Yeah,
I saw it.
I've got that wrong. Conte was never the manager for Spurs. It happens. You think something's going to happen. It doesn't happen. You can get things wrong. People nowadays just go, I'll stick by this no matter what. I had people in my chat doing a review show of the game, basically saying they can't see the difference in the football between now and Conte. Exactly. And I was just like, are you absolutely crazy? They can't see the difference. Because Solomon was a free, it means he's not a decent baller, a horrendous player because he was on the free. And I'm thinking to myself, are you hearing yourselves? Conte, people go, oh, but Conte couldn't play the type of football. We've heard that. Look at the type of football we're playing now under Ange. We're pretty much the same players. You've got, 3 signings in, and you still got that awful defence. But we're still playing much better attacking football, playing football higher up the pitch. We were told that's the reason why we sit and had to counter, because we can't do anything like that. The absolute horrendousness in regards to the way we played and was so defensive. What we are forgetting as well was last season, when we had to chase games, all of a sudden we can come out and play. I remember games where Bentancur was dragging a team up the pitch like against Leeds. We came back 4-3 because we were just sitting there defending and letting teams dominate us, having 60-70% of the ball at home. And we were literally just going, okay. And when we went behind, that's when we sparked into life, because we could play that way, but it was just like Conte playing his way and everyone was making excuses for it. Conte was a great manager in the fact that he could do things with the players he had, with the funds he had, playing the system he had. He could do that. At Spurs, he wasn't afforded that, and he couldn't adapt. The way he berated players after the fact and behind the scenes was adding to the problem. We knew if you didn't back Conte, he was going to do exactly what he did. It didn't happen. In regards to what people saying, oh, he done the right thing, he called everyone out. No, he took the cheap shot of going for the players. Sure, some of the players aren't good enough, but he didn't go for the ball at the same time. He pretty much walked anything back he said about them. So he was a bit of a coward in the way he went for them. He has to hold his hands up for part of the blame. Players do as well as do the ball. It was a horrendous shit show, all part of it. It was bad from start to finish. But people even now, cannot lay blame at Conte's door. And I have no idea why that is the case. And the reason, the reason is because people want to come on here and go, I was right about this, I was right about that. They want Ange to foul so they can go, if you had Conte in
Do you know, Alan, you make a great point. Do you know what? I said yesterday about someone put in there about Laporte, and I said there's no way on earth Spurs sign Aymeric Laporte. Do you know what though, Alan, right? I'm old enough and ugly enough, to turn around and say, if Spurs sign Laporte, I will do a stream praising Daniel Levy for buying Aymeric Laporte.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll happily go, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Why would I wouldn't find that a bad thing. I'd be like, I was wrong. Wow. They've gone and done it. But for some reason, you're right. It feels like people always go to me, oh, he's the best manager you ever had, Conte. And it's like, Based on what? He's a great manager for big clubs that give him top players. I'm not knocking those managers because it takes a certain sort of manager. Like there's managers that can deal with egos, right? Pep Guardiola can deal with egos because they knew he was a world-class footballer. They know he's one of the best managers in the world. He can walk the walk, he can talk the talk, right? Yeah. Klopp can deal with egos. Ancelotti can deal with egos. Ferguson, Wenger, yeah? These people can deal with egos. Conte can deal with egos as long as they've got the talent. The problem is there's a difference for me between a manager that goes in somewhere immediately and wins and a manager like Postecoglou or more of a Poch that will go in and go, right, what's the mess I'm picking up? How can I put some feel-good factor and build? So it's not that I've look, just because I don't like Conte's style doesn't mean I can't appreciate that he's a top manager for a top club. And I'll come to you on this. Does that make sense? Because I said this from day one that I never wanted Conte. And people then kept saying to me, oh, you never gave him a chance. But this is a manager that has an average tenure of 18 months at any football club he goes to. He signed an 18-month contract at Tottenham. And then there's people going, you know what? You know, if we sign him who he wants, he's going to stay. This guy was never staying. He made it clear for nearly a year in press conferences, that he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it all stems from that night against Manchester United where, you know, we were calling for Nuno's head.
Yeah.
And then once Nuno got the sack and then we brought in Conte, people were under the impression, and I'm just going by what fans were thinking, fans were under the impression that, oh, you know, he's listened to us. He's gone and got one of the best managers in the world. So this must mean that he's now going to back him.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sort of created that false illusion of we're finally going to, you know, back a world-class manager to get Levy out of the sort of hole that he put himself in, if you know what I mean. So I think people are wrapped up in that illusion. I mean, look, going by this board's history, we should have all known that that wasn't going to be the case. So for me, the 18-month contract was sort of the telltale sign that, you know, it wasn't going to be what people were expecting it to be. Let's be honest, because if he was here for a project, you know, if he was to do his job with the time afforded to him, he would have signed the 2-3 year contracts. Let's get players out of the door next season. Then we can bring in loads of other players, this, that, and the other. Look, it was a marriage not made in heaven. It was a marriage made in hell.
Can I ask you a question then on the back of that? Sorry, just really quickly to interject. Because you used the word marriage, right? I always said, from my point of view, my humble opinion, I felt that when he joined, it was a marriage of convenience. You had Antonio Conte, who had no job.
Yeah.
There was no top club out there that wanted to take him. You had Daniel Levy going, oh my God, I've made a massive mistake with Nuno. Let's put the two together. And it worked. And the 18-month worked well for both of them, didn't it?
So this is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to get onto. Because Levy screwed up, let's be honest, brought in Nuno. The man didn't even have his own office to work out of, if reports are to be true. But he brought in Conte to sort of save his own back, in my opinion. Look what I've done. Get what you can get off my back now. You know, I've delivered you Conte. So if he doesn't deliver now, it's not on me. Well, I think it's a little bit of both, because if you're bringing in someone like Conte, surely you would know if you're not going to back them, eventually, you know, it's like a pressure cooker. It's going to explode at some point. Yeah. Ultimately, that's what happened. Now, that press conference, had Conte come out and solely, you know, gun down the management and the board, and not the players, I would have had far more respect for him. I would have been
agree.
You know what? Oh, man, you've called out what everyone's been called. What a majority of people have been calling out, the board. You've called them out. Leave it at that. When he's come out and he's called out the players as well, that for me, that was, you know, the bottom line is you can't really come back from that because you'll lose the players.
Yeah.
You know, the players.
Hang on a second.
After that.
Just hang on a second, Haz. So because he called out the players that we all thought weren't good enough under his system, he's crossed a bridge that's unforgivable. But if he hadn't done that, but called out the chairman that a lot of people dislike, that's perfect. Everyone would have loved Conte for saying it how it was against against an entity that everyone didn't like, but saying it against players is unforgivable. How's that work? How do you square that circle when the same players are now performing?
How are you going to get a tune out of players that you already can't get a tune out of by then calling them out publicly? You're not.
No, but that's not the point I'm making. I'm not saying that you shouldn't call the players out, but you should take some accountability. If Ange has come in and has turned the same players, give or take the same players, into a team that can play football, then when does Conte sit there and actually accept the fact that some of it was on his style, his technique, his instructions? You never, ever heard him in 18 months ever say, I could have done something different there. It's never on him. It was always on someone. And people that have their agendas would have been more than happy to have heard it if it was aimed in one direction, but you aim it in two directions at the same time, but are still not on the guy who's saying it, just on the guy who's delivering it out. If you aim it in one direction, it's okay, but not in both. There's no, when you point a finger, there's 3 pointing back. Conte, I think in 3 games has been exposed by Ange Ball that we could have got more out of the team that we had, the squad that we had. And I think that is the point I was making. When people die on the hill, it wasn't Conte's fault.
Hang on, can you just confirm this wasn't me? I knew I'd take the blame for this. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That weren't it? Super Chat mentioned it.
It wasn't me. Look, let's move on from Conte.
Can I just say
go on, Has.
I didn't get a chance to respond to Sean. First of all, they play completely different tactics, completely different systems. They come with different reputations. Okay. Yeah. Conte's reputation, we all knew. We all knew what his reputation was, the system he played, the type of players that he likes to work with. Okay. All I'm saying is if at that point he had any sort of intention that he wanted to stay, okay, you wouldn't call out the players. So yeah, he did make his bed.
I'm sorry. Maybe I came in a little bit harsh on you.
I'll tell you what, Has.
I wasn't going at you, Has, personally. I was really just using you as the angle for me to make my point.
Can we be honest? First of all, I think lots of people say that he was sacked. He wasn't sacked. He's already come out and said that they walked away. Right? I said this at the time. I get the feeling that all of his press conferences are angling for the two to part way. His press conferences, forget that one, obviously the famous one. All his press conferences for 3-4 months leading up to that were all very little digs, little jabs. And I know people liked it. And bear in mind, Levy and Enoch out person. I know people liked it because it was, that will tell the board. It's not the way to do it, though. For me, the last thing I'll say on this, and we'll move on to Harry Kane, which is always a fun subject, right? For me, unless that's too negative for people in the chat, Antonio Conte, for me, as I've said, I would have had maximum respect for this guy. I've even said I would have built a trophy, a statue of the guy, if after that summer window last year, he had said, I'm off. I've not been backed. This isn't what I was promised, right? If he had done that, I would have turned around and gone, you know what? Fair play to you. Fair play. But he didn't. He came out and he started telling everyone, I'm happy with my window. And what a lot of fans did, if you all remember, guys, was, Conte's really happy with these players. The only one he's not happy with is the one he mentioned in his press conference was Jed Spence, because he mentioned him being a club signing. All of a sudden, when it started going wrong, now forget what I said about the players.
Weren't you? But you were. Sorry, I'm just trying to clarify on where we were, because I remember streaming with you. You hate Daniel Levy, right? You want him out of the club.
Yep.
But your take on Conte wasn't. You're saying now, I'd have respected him for walking away if he didn't get what he wanted.
I said it now. I said it then. Yeah,
no, I know you did. I know you did it there as well. Right, but. Does that mean that you're overlooking the shitty football that we had to tolerate?
No. Absolutely not. But my point is this. My point was he came out and said, I'm happy, right? I'm sure he wasn't, but he came out and said he was. And then all the fans went, oh my God, look, we've got 2 players in every position. We've won the transfer window, blah, blah, blah. Some of us were sitting there going, hang on, this window's been shit, right? Some of us were saying that. Other people saying we'd won the transfer window. when results were going well at the beginning of the season, remember, everyone was going, this guy, he's going to win us something. He's been backed. The moment
but everybody outside of the Tottenham community, Saba, was saying, watch, Tottenham are stealing results here. This can't survive.
Hang on. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Right?
I'm getting there, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
When it started to go bad, all of a sudden it was, he's not been backed. You've got to back your man. You've got to back him. And I was like, well, hang on. I said that he hadn't been backed. And loads of you came onto my show telling me, Sava, you're negative. He's been backed. So if he felt he hadn't been backed, which he clearly hadn't, right? In his mind, he clearly hadn't, depending on what you interpret the word back to mean. He should have walked, but he didn't. He waited for the results to start getting really bad and then started to dig at everyone else. The owner, yeah? The director of football, the players. All of a sudden...
Even if he had been backed, Sav, genuine question, even if he had been backed,
I would have hated his football.
You'd hate his football, right?
Absolutely, for sure. But this brings around a lot. I do want to really move on. This is my last point. Anyone that says the lines, was he backed? There's a huge difference between what a Postecoglou wants to be backed, right? And what a Conte wants to be backed. Yeah. Conte wanted players that weren't going to join Tottenham Hotspur. And fans still to this day, guys, say, oh, but he wanted Bastoni. Yeah, but Bastoni and his agents said they didn't want us. Like, you know, that's the level of player this man needs. And he'll get that at Chelsea. He'll get that at Inter Milan. He'll get that at Juve. You're not getting it at Tottenham Hotspur. So he was never right. But I want to move on. I really want to move on. Big up to absolutely everyone. Very tight tonight on the subscribers. Like, really, really tight. There's 1,025 of you, and we're stuck on 8731. That is really poor. Smash that subscribe button, people. You clearly like the panel. You're still here. You're still watching. Smash that button. A free shirt could be won. I'm going to start with you, Barry, on this. Are you there? Are you frozen?
I'm here.
Okay, good. You've frozen. Barry, the Harry Kane talk today was all about will he, won't he? We talked about it and we said we think he will. He did. He scores 4 goals. He then does a walk around the pitch, which is a bit elaborate of, you know, All the press now are going, is he waving goodbye? Is he going? I mean, look, we've got to have the chat. It's Sunday night. The bid's on the table. Is he going? I just don't get it anymore. I don't understand what's happening.
I don't get it, right? Because there was, seeing it today, he was the only player that went around the whole stadium clapping, right? And it was like that was him saying goodbye, let's just say. So then 20 minutes later, he sends a tweet out going, ramping it up. And I'm going, Harry, will you just come out and say you're staying or going? Because
Wait, what was the tweet? What was the tweet he said?
Ramping it up with a fire emoji.
That he actually wrote ramping it up, or you're saying that he ramped it up?
No, he wrote that. He wrote that.
He wrote the word ramp.
Yeah.
I've got my own interpretation of that, but I'll say it when I.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? I'm literally sat and I'm going. I've done the video and I've put it on. I've put it on a couple of groups. Going, there you go. There's your answer. Maybe, I'm not sure. And then the tweet comes out and I'm like, for God's sake, Harry, just say you're staying or you're going, please, because it's literally because now what we're doing is we're going to wait until tomorrow. And then there was the rumours that Bayern are going after another striker on Tuesday. And then if nothing happens on Tuesday, we've got to wait until Saturday to see if he starts against Brentford, or Sunday when he starts against Brentford. And I'm like, can you just make a decision, please? Because I can't cope. I don't know whether you're going. I don't know whether you're staying. I can't do this anymore. It's just exhausting.
It is. I mean, let me come to you and then I'll come to you, Alan. I mean, aren't we at the point, with all of this now, where Harry Kane can really wrap this up really very quickly? Let's be really, really honest. If Harry Kane comes out tomorrow and says, I have no interest in going to Germany, all of this goes away. We all shut up. He stays, we're happy. I'm getting to the point now where I've defended him for over a month now. Sean will tell you, I've defended him for a month going, I don't think he should say anything. I'm at the stage now where the season starts next week. Surely come out and say, I'm staying. Because all the while he doesn't, it just looks to me more and more like he wants to go.
Yeah, I think, look, for me, more than Kane actually talking, I think maybe the chairman should come out and say, like he has previously stated, that Harry Kane is not for sale at any price. He's stated that before. So why can't the chairman, if he's that intent on keeping Kane, come out and say, look, he's not for sale at any price. We're going to keep him. You know, if we lose him for a free next season, then we lose him. You know, I just think more so that the chairman should come out and you know, fight his corner and say this is how it is. But yeah, look, for me,
sorry. The one thing just before you go on, sorry to interrupt you. The other thing that's playing on this, Maddison is still not got a squad number. He's number 71. What number was Maddison at Leicester? He was number 10.
Yeah.
So have any of them got a squad number yet?
Yeah, well, they've announced Basuma, haven't they? They announced Basuma the other day.
Yeah, but Basuma was not a new signing. Basuma's not a new signing, so it's different. Has Solomon got a squad number yet?
No. Solomon and Adoji haven't. But the point here is, if we're going to start acting like a big club or doing it, just say to Reguilon, you're going, mate. You're not number 3 anymore. Adoji's got number 3. You know, are they really?
Hold up. I think if of all the things that we can interpret as signals of whether he's going or staying, the fact that Maddison is still playing with the 71, I think is bottom of the barrel.
I'm just saying, Sean. I know, but I'm just saying because it crossed my mind earlier. I'm just saying. So anyway,
the problem is we've got nothing else to go by. You know, we can only pick up the small little pieces that are left out there for us. But look, in terms of the message, the way I interpreted it was, look, I've just scored 4 goals. The whole transfer saga now, I'm ramping it up a little bit because I've just done this, you know.
So you're going the other way, not ramping it up for the season, ramping it up for...
I think he's just ramping it up in terms of ramping up the transfer situation.
Wow.
Hurry up.
Okay.
Hurry up.
You negative bastard, Has.
Yeah. Has, you're so negative. Welcome to the channel. You're so negative.
Look, I had to get in on the party, right? Come on.
Everyone in the chat, have a go at Has and make some thumbnails about him the way you have about me and Sean.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But yeah, no, I just feel like, why would you come out? You know, if you're going to stay, right? Just don't put out anything, you know. But the fact that you've not said anything, you know, you've not said anything at all, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you've sent that tweet, followed, well, you know, you followed that tweet up after you've clapped around the whole stadium, basically. So, what sort of message are you sending out to people? I'm just wondering, you know, is there something more to it?
I can't believe for a second that he's put a tweet out or a message out on Instagram, whatever, ramping it up, and he's turning that we can read into that as.
There you go. There it is.
But also,
the obvious way to interpret that is that we're getting ready for the season.
But
I agree, it's still spurious to read into it either way, to make assumptions, but to read that as some way of saying I'm going to ramp up the speculation of my departure. Has
okay?
I love you, my man.
So the question is,
I love you, my man, but I think it's.
Hang on. Sorry, go on, Has. Go on.
Just quickly, I just wanted to say also, if we're reported to be selling him for 100 million or whatever it is, would you really risk? I'm just saying it on the flip side now. Would you really risk playing him in a friendly against Shakhtar when he could have picked up an injury today?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that to me is the biggest tell. The fact that he was starting and stayed for 80 minutes.
I'm just trying to see both sides of the coin.
If we're looking for tells here, if we are looking for tells, him doing a lap of honor at the end, I think is cancelled out by the fact that when he was subbed off, he ran off the pitch.
Look, just quickly,
don't cancel each other out. Sorry, Sam, one sec. I think the idea of the trying to interpret ramping it up is spurious at best. I think it's madness. I think the biggest tell today is the fact that he started the game and played for 80 minutes. Bayern Munich, if we were close to a deal with them, they would have said, for God's sake, don't let the guy play. Or if you're going to let him, give him a minute to say goodbye. Give him 2 minutes at the end, just like the goalkeeper.
Hang on, but what if Levy hasn't? But what if Levy hasn't got close to it? Like if Levy hasn't responded yet, but might say yes.
Then that's fine. If that's the case, if we're not close to a deal, then you have to lean into the idea that he's not going anywhere. All I'm saying is if you're looking for tells that he's going, then you would look to the idea of he isn't starting. That would be a sure sign. Or he comes on in the 88th minute to get a round of applause and a sing-song. That would be a sign. The fact that he started and played 80 minutes. The Ukrainian 39-year-old goalkeeper, he got his testimonial today. We didn't even give Hugo Lloris the same version. That guy's been you know what I mean? Like, if we're looking for signs here, Harry Kane would have been, if he was out the door, he would have been given a minute at least.
I agree.
So it's madness. So I think
so that is why.
Yeah.
Just quickly. So Plutus, when you're saying it's not up to him, it is completely up to Harry Kane. If Harry Kane turns around, if Daniel Levy went, I've accepted a bid for 100 million for you, Harry Kane could turn around and go, that's great. I have no interest in moving to Germany with my family.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
Sanchez.
Right. So when we're saying it's not up to him, of course it is. This is the reason why, guys. I'm going to ask in a second. I've just seen this. Big up to Perchi. He's out tonight in Barcelona. He sent me a few videos. He's celebrating. It's his birthday tomorrow. He's pissed as a fart.
Big up Perchi.
Have you seen, is he like at a Barbie like dance convention or something? He's sending me videos. He's sending me kisses, pictures with like him pouting. I mean, Perchi, I did say to you, I can't say what I was going to say. I said, next I'm going to get a picture of something else. He's like, you don't have to ask me twice. And
what's the matter with you, Barry? He's just a young man enjoying life. I don't see.
Yeah, Barry, you old git.
Negative Nancy over here. Yeah.
Talking about
the pictures me and Sam have got.
Talking about negative Nancy's, I cannot believe we cannot get any more subscribers. This is the tightest I've ever seen it from a room full of over 1,000 people. Smash the like button, people. Smash the subscribe button. We should be on 700 likes by now. We're only on 500. Half of you haven't. We're only on 8735 subs. Come on, people. Smash that button. But look, Alan, I'll come to you. To Sean's point and to Haz's point, this could all go away by Harry Kane coming out and saying, I am not going to Germany.
Yeah.
Why has Harry Kane not come out and said, I am not going to Germany?
Because he's open to going to Germany, and it's depending on whether we want to sell him or not. Because let's look at it back at 2019 with Man City. With that, we had a bit of context in regards to the interview with Gary Neville, and then we had the whole thing with Man City, and he was quiet, didn't say anything. And all that thing was he was going to go Man City. As soon as they get the right offer in, he's gone. He didn't say anything. Let's look at Son. Saudi Arabia club wanted him. He instantly came out and said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying at Spurs. It's the end of it all that. And he's like, in regards to the Harry Kane being quiet again. I put a comment in your chat earlier on, and I said, if Kane is going and it's like the deal is going to happen, I don't want him on that pitch because this should be put for Richarlison or whoever to be playing the way Ange wants to start the season. So I don't want him on the thing. For him to play 80 minutes tells me that actually he is going to stay. If now, after all this, and we're going into the start of the season and Harry Kane starting, for him to be sold, then whoever has made these decisions, whether it's the board, whether it's Harry and all that, go down in my estimation because you're literally putting the manager in a position where he's playing Harry Kane thinking he's going to be starting Harry Kane, getting everything to Harry Kane starting, and it's going to be him leaving, and then he's going to have Richarlison or whoever else, somebody else comes in and get used to the team. You're basically cutting a nose off spite face. And I said about it, sentiment, literally in regards to everything that people say about keeping Harry Kane. If he wants to go, rip the Band-Aid off, enough of the sentiment, let him go. Thank you for the memories, that's good. But Spurs come first. Build towards the season with the best possible situation for Ange and whoever's going to be in this team. But Harry Kane hasn't said anything like he didn't say last time. And for me, that's very disingenuous. If you weren't going to go, you would come out and say, I'm staying. For the fact that he hasn't come out and said that tells me that he's open to going. And that's for me. He's playing both sides. For me,
Alan,
that's disingenuous.
to play devil's advocate, because I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. But I've got popcorn in my mouth, I've got popcorn in my hand, and I'm looking for I'm happy to create drama, and this might be the catalyst for a conversation. So, just for the purposes of devil's advocate, is there any chance that Harry Kane doesn't want to go? That the idea that if he wanted to stay, he would have said it, like what Sonny did when he was offered the Saudi chance. Is the reason why he hasn't said anything is because under advice from his idiotic brother, it doesn't make sense. But the logic that they're employing is that if you don't say anything, you'll be able to get yourself an extra 100 grand a week out of Daniel Levy when you end up signing your contract.
I'm pretty sure to see out his contract at Spurs, I'm pretty sure if he was to declare his loyalty to Spurs and say, I'm going nowhere, I want to stay at Spurs, I think he would still be offered whatever he wants. I think he could be offered a bit more here and there isn't the matter at hand.
He'll get that elsewhere, though. He'll get that United, City, wherever he goes, he'll get that anyway next season.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Even if he don't even because the whole thing about him not signing, he won't sign until the season started if he doesn't Spurs. But for me, if he's not going to sign, then he's just going to walk on free. And like I said on another show, I think it was this show on Friday, if Harry Kane has the chance to go anywhere for free, he is not going to Bayern Munich. It is the Premier League he will be staying.
Right. Okay, so if he doesn't get to go to Bayern Munich this in the next week, because the argument is if he plays against Brentford, he's not leaving, right? So if he hasn't left within the next 7 days, then he's staying at Tottenham. Who is it that does these things? I love them; they're brilliant. But if he stays at Tottenham for the next 7 days and plays against Brentford, he's probably staying at least until January. And what you're saying is at that point in next summer, we either sell him in January, or if we don't, next summer he either signs with Tottenham and gets paid a ridiculous salary plus a ridiculous signing fee, or he's more likely to then go and stay in the Premier League and go where? Where does he go? Man United have just paid 75 million quid for Rasmus Højlund, a guy who 16 months ago was playing for Copenhagen and on certain away games was playing in front of 500 people.
So for me, if you're going on a free, one of the best strikers in world football going on a free, any big club who can pay the wage would go for him. Yep, Man United could.
Man United, I'm pretty sure Eric Ten Hag said that they're changing their wage structure. They're not going to do that stuff anymore.
Okay, and then Man United go and do stupid stuff and just spend ridiculous time.
I'm just telling you. I'm not. Who knows? I'm just saying.
I think given a chance, if any of these clubs could buy Harry Kane on the free next season or get him on the free, I think
does he go to Arsenal and destroy his reputation?
Well, people say no, but we've seen it happen before with Sol Campbell. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just Spurs through and through, and he walked. I'm not going to say he is, but with people that use that, he wouldn't destroy his reputation. So
wouldn't Harry Kane look at the Sol Campbell experience and go, I love Tottenham. I don't want Tottenham fans to be singing "We're all having a party" when Harry Kane dies.
I think we can all agree that he's not going to go Arsenal.
Fans nowadays are watered down. They're not as ruthless in the day. Fans are watered down these days. They're not as cutthroat as they used to be. So I don't think. Look, I'm not saying he's going to walk there, but that's an option. Liverpool would take him on a free. Man City, I think there would be a chance they'd take him on a free. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, even Newcastle.
He's not guaranteed a trophy at Liverpool. He's not guaranteed a trophy at Newcastle. He's not guaranteed a trophy at. If you're going to leave Tottenham, it has to be to guarantee yourself a trophy, especially in the Premier League where you're going to be hated by Tottenham fans. The only place at the moment this year where he's guaranteed a trophy is a team that don't need him.
So let's have a look. In the recent years, who have won a trophy? Chelsea have won a trophy in the last 5 years. Man United have won a trophy in the last 5 years.
Liverpool.
Man City. So that's 4 straight off the bat who have won trophies, and Spurs have. And the thing is, people are saying, but we need Harry Kane.
Doesn't mean they're guaranteed. The gap between...
Can I just interject quickly between you two here? Isn't the point here that it's not a guarantee of a trophy, but surely the point here is that by buying a world-class player like Harry Kane, it increases increases the likelihood of winning a trophy. Like Kane will know himself. If I go somewhere, let's use Liverpool, for example. Actually, that's not a good one. They've got about 95 forwards.
No, use Liverpool because that's the most obvious. That's the most obvious option for me.
Okay, use Liverpool. Harry Kane will see what Klopp has done over the years with Liverpool, winning trophies. I mean, how many trophies has Klopp won in that time? He'll see that he's been able to reinvent them as well. And he'll look at that and go, hang on, if I add my 30 goals to Liverpool, Klopp's shown he's a winner. He's shown he can win these tournaments. I could help them get to that point. I'm just chucking that in for devil's advocate, right? Isn't that the point? It's not about whether they're ready to win a trophy now. If those clubs were guaranteed a trophy now, they might not need a Harry Kane. Yeah. But, you know, I reckon he can go somewhere and have the Haaland effect, for example. Yeah. City were guaranteed trophies, but he got them to the next level. So it's all very interesting.
Liverpool are addressing their problem area, which was midfield. They're addressing that this summer. Now, it's going to take time to develop. But let's just say, obviously, they addressed the midfield and they're there or thereabouts. And then next season, you have another season of Darwin Núñez not really doing it. You take Darwin Núñez out, put Kane in with a better midfield, and obviously the attacking threat that they've got, Liverpool, with Klopp as well. I instantly say that they challenge for the title and possibly the Champions League like they were. It could go horribly wrong, and it could be the fact that it doesn't work out and he goes elsewhere or not. But they're not a million miles away, Liverpool. They sorted out their problems and they adjusted for the bad midfields they had, and they came back at the end of the season. They just left themselves a bit too much to do. Now they're addressing their problem area in midfield. Add Kane to that in next summer. Why couldn't they challenge?
Right, here's a question. Here's a question for you all. Let's say he stays and he goes on a free. Just a hypothetical before everyone in the chat goes mental, right? If Harry Kane runs down his contract, how many clubs, let's list them, how many clubs realistically put an offer on the table to Harry Kane's agent? I'll start and we'll go that way, right? We'll go round to Sean, then Has, then Barry. Then I'm going to start with the obvious, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Sean?
Is this just Premier League or is it anyone?
Any team in world football.
Okay. The next obvious one, next summer, Real Madrid, obviously.
Real Madrid. All right, Chelsea, Real Madrid. Has?
I was going to say Real Madrid. Do we have to pick a different team?
Yeah. If you pick the same one, it wouldn't really work.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to say United.
All right. Chelsea, Real Madrid, Man United. Barry?
City.
Alan?
Newcastle.
Barcelona?
Yep.
Lewandowski will be... Yep.
Well, yeah, I got some question marks against a couple of these names, but whatever.
Right.
Okay, if we're carrying on, PSG.
Has? No one said Liverpool yet, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Oh.
Liverpool. Barry?
Bayern Munich.
Gotta be. If they've tried to get in this summer, of course they're going to come back in, right? Listen, I think we could probably leave it there, right?
Mate, there's every single big team in every single league either needs a number 9, has been looking and just found the number 9, or will be looking for a number 9 in the next 12 to 18 months. But there is not a team in European football that is not of the highest order that is settled with their number 9 situations, apart from Man City. From City.
I need to rip this point apart. I'm so sorry, Elias. No, I hate Daniel Levy as much as the next man. No. If Harry Kane, I don't think he will, by the way. If Harry Kane chose out of all of those world clubs who just said that will bid for him, chose to do a Sol Campbell, that is not on Daniel Levy. He can pick the world, any club will come in for him. I'm sorry. This again, for me, the problem with this is, yes, we hate Levy and Enoch, a lot of us, but you're now using that hate irrationally. That you can't.
It's the derangement syndrome. It's like the liberal media who hate. It's the liberal media who hate Donald Trump. Anything will do. It doesn't matter what the story is. If there's anything, any way I possibly can, it's Daniel Levy's fault.
Yeah, we can't, sorry, I'm sorry. You can't have that. So the point is, next season, guys, we just named about 9 clubs that whether or not he will definitely go to all 9 is a different story. But they will all go, hang on, it's worth putting something down on the table. His agent will probably, a bit like a poker game, go, right, just so you know, to enter negotiations, it's a 20 million signing on fee minimum and 500 grand a week. Who's in? That might see 2 or 3 of those clubs go, no, we can't. You're still going to have 5 or 6 of the biggest clubs in world football going for him. So my question with all of this, I'll come to you in 1 second. My question with all of this is, why, when he's got all of that, I'm just asking, I'm sitting on the fence here, why, when he's got all of that, would be any reasons to sign a new contract at Tottenham Hotspur? Therefore, wouldn't it be better to sell him now? I'm just bringing this all full circle.
Yeah,
Go on, mate.
No,
sorry, I'll go Has and then you.
I was just going to say, how crazy would it be if he did go to Newcastle, right? And he broke Alan Shearer's record at Newcastle.
Hey, can we relax on Newcastle? They are they've got a wonderful first 11.
I'm not saying what happened, Sean. I'm just saying hypothetically how crazy.
No, I know. Sorry. So it has. I feel like twice now I've been trying to make my own point, but I've used your point as a way to make mine. I'm not having a crack at your point. I'm actually going off on my own. So forgive me, bro. I'm not actually. I agree with what you're saying 100% on both of the previous points. But when it comes to Newcastle, not to get off the topic, just whilst I'm talking, whilst I've got the Oki, people are making out the Newcastle this ridiculous threat that are going to do bits, and they might, but they are paper thin when it comes to depth. They are a paddling pool when it comes to how shallow their quality of their squad is. They get a couple of injuries at the moment. I don't think they're ready for that. They've got the Champions League. They've got all these things.
I would agree with that.
If injuries come their way, it's a big if, but it happens to everyone. If it comes their way, the way that Tottenham received injuries last year, Newcastle could easily finish 9th again. I'm not even joking. But sorry to get off the topic, and sorry to use you, Has, as my reason to get my point out about something random.
You're good, mate. You're good.
Love you, my man. Sorry, Alan, you wanted to get back onto the point that whatever we were talking about before. Sorry, bro.
I think you've taken it away from me now. Yeah, look, I can't understand how there are Spurs fans out there saying we got him for free. Doesn't matter if he goes on a free. Absolutely not. If we are going to sell to a rival, if he's going to go to a rival, I want to charge that rival top dollar or as much as we can for Harry Kane, because chances are we're going to get that pain back in conceding goals against him, maybe going out of a cup to him. There's a possibility of happening, losing a game or being just a few points short of European football, something like that. It could come back and bite us in the backside. So I want to charge. So the people that are literally going, oh no, but it's Harry Kane. Oh, he loves Tottenham. Let him have one more season empty out. I'm just like, what on earth are you smoking to think that letting Harry Kane go on a free to a rival in your league makes any sense? Is unbelievable. And people saying, oh, we need to keep him because Spurs are nothing without him. Spurs were around before him. Spurs will be around after him. And Harry Kane's been here, 8, 9, 10 years? How many trophies have we won in that time? None. How many did we win before him? Plenty. End of.
Well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, Barry, are you still there, Barry? Your camera is shockingly bad. It keeps cutting out. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Finland. Is this like Eurovision? Finland, are you there?
I mean, look, I think for me, the thing is, Barry, I'm going to say this as well. I agree with Alan on this. Look, and again, I'm going to caveat because people keep messaging me on YouTube going, why do you want our greatest striker to leave? And I'm like, no, you're missing the point. Yeah. I want Harry Kane to sign a new contract, right? I want to wake up tomorrow morning, guys, and see Harry Kane, don't know what that was. Harry Kane signs new 5-year deal. And you know what? We all shut up. We all shut up and go, right, Harry Kane's a Spurs player for the next 5 years. Done. We can all shut up. But the problem is, all the while he's not, Barry, him walking on a free. I know I saw the debate earlier, like where Danny Kyriakis keeps threatening to come on to the show, keeps threatening it, right? Say, yeah, but Spurs are a rich club and should be able to afford to replace him without the money. That's not quite how it works. You can't let Kane walk on a free next year, then turn around and go, right, Daniel Levy, why haven't you signed a 60, 70 million pound striker?
Yeah.
Like that's not, surely you get money in and you reinvest. And isn't that how businesses work? You recoup money, you put money in. Do you know what I mean, Barry? I think it would be mad to let the guy go on a free.
Yeah, look, I think it'll be mad, but would I be surprised? Absolutely not, because I also think part of me is thinking that this could be the greatest play that Levy has ever done. So if he doesn't go to Bayern Munich and then does the old Men in Black thing that we've spoken about and gets Harry Kane to sign a new contract, right? That will be the greatest play, and everyone will be like, Christ, I don't know how he's done it. There'll still be people saying, you know, he should have done it earlier, or that we shouldn't have gone through this again, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Some part of me thinks that the board and Levy and everyone else is sitting there going, we haven't spent any money on a striker in 10 years. So if we lose 100 million, we're not actually losing anything because we haven't spent anything in the last 10 seasons or what have you. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're on this, it's almost like going across the Grand Canyon on a bloody wire and you don't have that safety net. It's like, do you know what? I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to do this crazy thing. And I don't care what happens because I'm going to get blamed for it either way. But we can't afford for him to go on a free. An ideal situation, which I've said before, is he stays, he signs a new contract with a release clause so that at any point, whatever that money is, we still get something out of that player. That's the only win-win for both sides, I think. That's the only win-win.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, let me come to this. I saw you and Danny talking about this earlier. And look, whilst I agree, in a comfortable world, you know, a club like Man City, they could let an Aguero go on a free and you know they're going to go and spend money because that's the way they're run. We've never seen Spurs act like that. This is going to be my issue. And as much as I hate Daniel Levy, I'll stick up for him on this one thing. If we do not sell him this window, all the fans that are saying now, just keep him for one more year, don't matter if he goes on a free. Next summer, when that big replacement isn't incoming, and when you're on mute, when the transfer budget isn't what everyone wants it to be, and they're all then having a go at Daniel Levy going, oh my God, where's that money? Just remember that half the fan base wanted him to go for nothing. We got nothing for Ledley King. We got nothing for Sol Campbell. And the reason I say those two is those two and Harry Kane are the best.
20 million for Ericsson.
No, hang on. The point I'm making on those three, that Kane, King, Campbell are the three best players to come out of the academy in the last 35 years, right? I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
Nothing for Ledley because he retired.
We haven't really sold an academy player that's actually made it in the first team and then moved on.
Not for a lot of money. No, we sold players for like 7 million, 10 million, 11 million. But how can you get nothing for King? All right, he retired, whatever. Nothing for Campbell. We let his contract run down, goes to Arsenal. If we do the same with Harry Kane, you have to look at the model of this club and go, how on earth have we allowed one of the best strikers in world football to go and play for someone else, and we're sitting here with no money back from it?
This is why I feel like this particular decision from Daniel Levy is the litmus test, right? And I'll say it again. Like, there's fans out there who are entrenched in their view either way. There's fans that I speak to that have been more on. I mean, you know how I tried to do my best to isolate every decision, and then I think of it like a stock price, right? If you look at like a price of a share on a graph, you'll see the individual day price going up or down, and then behind it, if you look at the historical, you'll see the moving averages. And to me, I think everything that Daniel Levy does is a tick up or a tick down, and then overall, depending on the weight of that decision, it influences the moving average, right? But some people think that Daniel Levy can do no wrong. Some people think that Daniel Levy can do no right. I personally think how he handles this particular issue will be the game changer for that 60% of people that are in the middle that don't really have an opinion, right?
I agree.
If he gets it right, and we won't know if he gets it right until 2-3 years down the line. If he doesn't sell Harry Kane and Harry Kane signs a new contract this year, but not this summer, then Daniel Levy has played a worldie.
Yep.
But we won't know, and Daniel Levy doesn't know. If Daniel Levy sells Harry Kane right now, and we can't replace him, or we don't replace him, or everything falls apart without him, then Daniel Levy might have done the right thing, but it will be received or reflected in the future. We're going to play 2020 hindsight on this. Every Tottenham fan is going to reflect and say, I told you so, and they'll change their opinion regardless. But Daniel Levy has to make his decision without knowing how it's going to work out. The way that what really annoys me when Tottenham fans could do this, was he backed? Wasn't he backed? That's only ever a conversation if the season hasn't worked out well. If the season is worked out really well, then no one's having the conversation of whether the manager was backed. But I think that this particular decision around what he does with Harry Kane, for me, defines Daniel Levy. And I think he's aware of that. So he has to be very confident.
That is a good point. When we look at it from that point of view, but what I'm asking for is I'm asking for people to keep the same energy. Like I'll come to you on this. Next summer, I just want the people, unless I'm not saying this is all a hypothetical game before people have a go at me. It's all a hypothetical. In this hypothetical, Kane is walking away on a free transfer. If he does walk away on a free transfer next year, those very same fans that were desperate to keep him for one more year because we were going to get relegated if he doesn't leave, apparently, if he leaves, those fans then, for me, can't then hold that against Daniel Levy because they want Daniel Levy to reject these offers. Do you know what I mean? You can't have a go at Levy for selling him, but then in the same breath have a go at him next year if he walks on a free.
Sam, just 5 seconds before you let the guys come in. Isn't it the perfect time to be taking receipts? Everybody in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
What is your decision right now? What you want? I don't want to wait. I don't want to see you saying in 6 months' time, I told you so. I want to know what you would do right now if you are Daniel Levy, so I can hold you accountable. I will take screenshots of your opinion. Everybody in the comments, stake your case right now. Sell or keep. And what the price is. So I'll
tell you what, let's do that now. In the comments, there are 894 of you. By the way, stop being tight and subscribe. Subscribe to everyone in the show. Smash the like button. Can't believe these are 3 things to do, people. 3. We got 547 likes from nearly 900 of you. I'm really disappointed. Smash the like, subscribe. Would you, if you're Daniel Levy right now, sell or keep? In this hypothetical game, he is not signing a new contract. Please don't put in, sign a contract. We'll talk about that in a minute. Keep or keep or lose on a free. Sorry, no, that's not what I'm asking, isn't it? Oh my God.
Jesus, Sam, for God's sake.
Sorry, sell or
You're not
leave.
even drunk.
I know, I've not drunken for ages. Sell or leave on a free. Which one you doing? All right, sorry, go on, Haz. Before Sean uses you again.
Yeah, just before Sean uses me again. Sean, you've got a couple of minutes, mate, and then you can use me if you want. No, you can't. If he goes on a free next season, I'm not going to blame Levy. But at the same time, what I would sort of blame Levy for is that he didn't sort of build a team around him when he needed to, when we was in our pomp sort of thing, when we went there a couple of windows without any signings or anything. Ideally, we should have brought in more quality to sort of push on, and we didn't. And that's the only thing that I would sort of blame him for, is that. But if he leaves on a free, look, let's make no bones about it. Kane holds all the aces. Yeah, he can choose to go. He can choose, like in next season, he can choose to go. He can talk to teams in January. He's, in my opinion, he's playing a blinder here because, he's the one who holds all the cards now.
Has quickly tell everyone that there's a poll in the chat where they can vote.
Mate, you got the wrong question, Saba.
What? Why have I?
Because it's not. No, the question that you have to judge Daniel Levy on is not whether you sell now or you lose him for free. It's sell now and stop risking losing him for free, or keep him and hope that you can convince him to stay.
No, but that's not that. But Sean, that wasn't my question, because in again, as I said, in the hypothetical world, this question was: would you keep him for one more year?
I think that hypothetical is wrong, because in the hypothetical of 1 year versus not 100 million, most people are going to say sell, but.
I don't think they will.
Can you not sell him?
No, but Sean, that wasn't the hypothetical, Sean. You're changing what it was. It was if Harry Kane, if it was the choice between letting him go on a free or selling him now, that was it. We'll talk about him signing.
I think it was the wrong hypothetical, but fair
okay,
enough.
but we'll talk. I said, Sean, I already said we'll talk about him signing a new contract in a minute. I just want to know that if those were the two options, what would people do? Right.
So, wasn't your question? Would you blame Levy if he left? That was your question to me, right?
I can't even remember what my question to you now was.
That's what I was answering. You asked, would you blame Levy if Kane left for free next season? And that's why I'm giving you the answer that I was giving.
Yeah.
No, so no, you can't. In some ways, you can't. But then you can look back at things and say, well, actually, if Levy would have invested, we might have, done bits in previous seasons gone by. But yeah, like I said, Kane holds all the cards at the moment.
For me, it's quite simple. I'd shag Alan, I'd snog Haz, and I'd avoid Sean. Oh, sorry, that wasn't the question that you're asking, was it?
Hey, I would have married you. I
just wanted to take this to its lowest basic form, which was: would you risk losing Harry Kane on a free as opposed to selling him now, purely so you can have his goals for one more year? Because next year,
I think that will really. It's a fine question to ask, but I think that you'll get like an 80% sell. Right, especially if it's 100 million quid on the offer. But what I think, I know, Alan,
that's the point.
You're on mute, Alan. But I think the genuine question should be, I think the real question that might have a better balance would be, do you sell him for 100 million, or do you keep him in the hope that you might be able to convince him to stay if you can go and do things this season? I think that's where Daniel Levy's. Because my point was about Daniel Levy. This is Daniel Levy's massive moment. This will define his tenure. If he makes the right decision on keeping Harry Kane, then that will be dependent on whether or not Harry Kane signs.
So, Sean, I get what you're saying, but fans, and I've had a lot of them do it on socials, and also some have done it on my channel in regards to they've gone, why would I sell one of the best strikers in world football? I'd rather have his goals one more season, and basically he can go on a free. And I've said to him, what, go on a free? And they've gone, yeah. And it's the thing, it's what fans do nowadays. It's sort of like, that's why I'm glad that obviously you said about getting screenshots of people, because it's always now you're in a mud. Like, if they'll say it in here, but then about a year later, people will go, well, I never said that, but you did. Like, when I was saying about Son last season, I was saying all season that Son he shouldn't have been starting this and the other. And people would, after his hat-trick against Leicester, people would come back and they go, oh, what you say now? You're in the mud because of one game. I'm like, but he's been absolutely horrendous. And then he went on to be worse.
Yeah, but Alan, content creators like you are always going to be receipted. People in the comments are not going to be receipted apart from by me. I've got a receipting profile. I take screenshots of everything. So I see what you guys are putting in the comments.
And from 875 people in the chat, only 172 people have bothered to vote. Vote. Give us a sample size. Give us a sample size, people.
But that's why I'm saying that I'm glad that people are, because people will sit here in the chat, obviously, and people can make mistakes, but they'll, in a year's time, they'll go, well, I never said to sell, and or I didn't want him to go on free, but they do. But people won't accept accountability. Like I said, you can get things wrong. People see me going, I want the money for Harry Kane now, as if I don't want Harry Kane to sign a contract. Ideally, he comes out and goes, I'm signing the contract, I'm staying at Spurs. Brilliant, let's move forward. But in the fact that he doesn't, I want top dollar for him now rather than him go on a free.
Yeah, 100%.
Hypothetical. People say hypothetically, oh, his goals will get us European football. But let's suppose things go wrong this season and it doesn't happen.
Hang on, just quickly. It was a hypothetical. It was a hypothetical. There's no right or wrong. It was a hypothetical game. Like, I don't understand. It was just a simple question to find out whether or not everyone would rather him go on a free or not. We're going to talk in a minute about the chances of him signing a new contract.
No, Sam. Hang on. I think the reason why there's a little bit of people like the reason why I'm pushing this. I want this to be clear. Is to me the point I was making. The question I was asking was, it started with me saying I think that this is Daniel Levy's litmus test. I think that Daniel Levy, there's 10% of Tottenham fans that are like, I don't care what he does, he's fine with me. He's built a new stadium. He's not done anything wrong. And there's maybe 20% of Tottenham fans that whatever he does, if a pigeon shits on my head on the way to the stadium, and this is another example of what an absolute parasite this guy is, right? And then there's probably 70% of people in the middle, like there is in politics, that lean one way, that can lean the other way, etc. And I think that this moment right now for Daniel Levy is absolutely crucial. And the reason why I wanted to be clear on the rules of the question was not if you keep him for one more year and lose him for free, because I think that most people would say 100 million now is better than nothing next year. But for me, I think that the real true litmus test is on how you're going to judge Daniel Levy is if he gets it right. And him getting it right is dependent on if you don't sell Kane now for 100 million, then it's not just about keeping him for a year and losing him for free. It's about keeping him for the year and convincing him to stay.
I know, but that's all got very complicated from what was a very simple question that I was asking from the get-go. That's all I'm saying. I want to talk about it in a minute. I do. Just quickly, can we please dispel this myth? Please, can we dispel this myth? Spurs will not make £100 million if we get back into the Champions League unless you get to the final. You do not just get £100 million for reaching the Champions League. This myth has to go away, because otherwise that completely changes the whole, well, keep him because if he gets us Champions League, he's made his money back. That's not the case. So can we please stop with that? We get 100 million back anyway. We'd have to make the final the year after. Right? We'd have to make the final the year after for that to happen. Barry, what needs to happen for Kane to sign a new contract? How can Daniel Levy, let's say, buy and go away? It's rejected. What does Levy need to do in the next 3 to 6 months to convince Harry Kane that he should sign a new contract and he's better off at Spurs than going for free next year and picking up a massive raise in wages and a massive signing on fee?
What does he need to do? Well, look, Andrew said today that we're looking at 1 or 2 more centre backs. So just to upset everyone, obviously Van der Ven was there today, so he's going to be one of them, and we're probably going to bring one back from Barcelona when we go there on Tuesday. So Perchy, if you can sort something out so that doesn't happen. Look, I think for me, we know what we need to do in terms of the players, right? We know we've started, and I don't know whether Kane is going to be convinced of this rebuild. I think Ange is the right manager to try and to convince him. I think he's obviously seen we've got that Eriksen replacement with Maddison coming in. I don't think he'll be too convinced. I don't think he'll be too convinced over obviously Vicario and stuff like that. But what does he need to do? We need to go out and do the same as what we've done and address some of the issues in January. We need to get rid of the deadwood and potentially tear up some contracts, which we were told is going to happen. Because then and only then, I think that maybe Harry Kane sits there and goes, I know I've gone down this route before. I know I've been promised the rebuild under however many managers, but maybe actually this manager's going to be given time. He's going to be allowed to build, I mean, I know I'm saying this. I'm not even convinced by what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? But this is like how Harry Kane is probably feeling, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is how we're all feeling. But I don't think it's going to be. I mean, obviously, if he signs a new contract, he's going to get offered upwards of £400,000 a week. He doesn't obviously need the money, but obviously it's pretty much doubling what he's getting paid at the moment. And I think if he can see all that and seeing the end goal of winning that trophy and getting that monkey off not only his back but all of our backs, that's what we have to do to get him to stay. But I don't know. I'm going the other way now. I'm just watching another fucking Twitter video and I'm thinking, I'm going the other way. Sorry, Sava. Sorry. No, we've all done it apart from Haz, right? Don't pick on me. Sean's done it. Alan's done it.
Just
what have I done? What are you
stop
putting under the bus for?
swearing.
You swore.
Swearing. Stop. Look.
Sava, have you refreshed your stream? Refresh go to your videos, refresh it. If you've gone limited, then let us know, because then we can all do what we want to say and say what we want to do. Because I've got things I want to say, bro.
No. I don't want to be that type of show. Listen, just quickly, I'm going to come to Haz on that in a second. Just quickly, Trinidadian Deep has come in and said, get the likes up. Lewis won't steal them. Laugh out loud. Thank you so much, Trinidadian Deep. It's been very tight in here tonight. Really tight. Jim has said this SC is because Sean spoke some sense at last. Conte was crap for Spurs. Yeah, he very much was. He really, really was. Thank you, Jim. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at the members only show tomorrow evening. Daniel Muntenden, always a big supporter, said, big up Sean, big up Haz, Barry, Alan and Sava. Great show. Thank you so much, Daniel. Donna Cullen is in the house and said Conte left as I asked him for unspeakable things.
What's happening, Donna? Big up the Unspeakable Things crew.
Big up, Donna. She's also now come in saying, has Unspeakable Things tonight?
You absolutely dishonourable little git. You were sitting there the other night. You were all over me, Donna. You were all over me in 4 different currencies. 4 different currencies. You were all about me. Now you're over the good-looking bloke who works for Foot Locker, apparently. What's going on? What's going on with you, Donna?
People love shoes, don't they? What can I say?
Donna's coming again and said, Mr. Sava, please don't cry. It aches my heart. Listen, I've got no time for you, Donna Cullen. Listen, you're flirting with everyone. Listen, you do not know how to make people feel special. But thank you for the super chat. Rob Wallace has come in and said, what a dodgy-looking panel. Big up. Sell Kane for some funds, I hope. Another super chat here from Loves Music. I said, surely he stays. If he'd got injured, it's off. Obviously, there's that way of looking at it as well. There is that optic to look through. Just a girl who loves Spurs, Kate, has said, great show, gents. Absolute class, except for Nick. I agree. We'll try and edit him out after the show.
Yeah,
Thanks, Kate. And Chasey has come in and said, it's quite easy. His goals could get us Champions League football, which means we get 70 million anyway. Hang on, just now it was 100. It's going down and down. Levy thinks he can get Kane stay if we start well. Thank you to everyone for the super chats. Please keep smashing the subscribe button. We're going to go until 1:45, so another 17 minutes. Smash the subscribe, please like, blah, 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 all the usuals. Sorry that someone said in the chat, Sav always wants subscribers. Yeah, it's pretty much how the business works, right? You try and grow. Has somebody put in the chat, this is an interesting one. What is there to say that even if we won a trophy this year, that Kane would stay? And that's a question I don't think anyone really asks. What is it to say we lift the FA Cup that we'll go, oh my God, Harry definitely wants to stay?
Nothing. We don't know what he's thinking in his mind. Has Harry Kane himself come out and said, I want to win trophies and I'll only stay if I win trophies? No, he hasn't. So, players sometimes want to experience something different. We've seen it previously with players we've had in the past. You know, from your Linekers to your Paul Gascoignes, you know, who won an FA Cup with us. He still went to Lazio, didn't he? So we don't know what players are thinking. We don't. And there's nothing to suggest, especially from Harry, that he'll stay if we won a trophy. Let's not forget, this is a fan-made thing. This is a fan theory. Everyone from every different club always harps on about, yeah, Kane's got to win a trophy. Kane's got to win a trophy. He ain't going to stay because he's not won a trophy. Well, has he come out and said that? No.
So
you know, we're all theorizing, aren't we?
I need to disagree with that slightly. I can't remember the exact word.
No, if you're going to disagree, go in hard, Alan. Create some drama. Go in on Haz.
Alan, come on, give it. Come on, let's
give it to it.
I politely decline that point that you've made, Haz, and I'm going to just interject here and put my point across. No, Alan, drop the bomb.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I have to disagree purely for the fact is that when he done that interview with Gary Neville in 2019, he said that he wanted to win trophies. He did say that, to words to that effect. So he wants to do that. So what's happened? So 4 years later, he's decided, nah, I tried, it didn't work. Now I'm just going to sit back and relax. No, he still wants to win. But I agree. If he does stay with us and we win a League Cup, is that going to be the thing he's going to go, my work here is done, I can just relax at Spurs? I don't think so. I think it's going to be, I don't even think an FA Cup will be. I think it'll be Premier League or bigger. That's why I think he wants to go. If he does, and we're going to sell him to Bayern Munich, he's going to win the league there, and there's a chance for Champions League. I think that's what he's looking to do. So I don't even think a FA Cup or a League Cup will be enough to keep him if he does want to win trophies, which 4 years ago he said he did.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that, on the fact that, you know, a League Cup might not cut it. It might not cut it because, look, the way I see it, Harry Kane's an elite player. We've got an elite player in our hands. Elite players win elite trophies. But, you know, at the same time, when he done that Sky Sports interview, did he say that he wants to win a trophy with Spurs, or did he say he wants to win a trophy elsewhere?
Yeah, but is he going to come out while he's at Spurs and go, you know what, I really wanted to win a trophy and I don't care where it is?
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
So you can take what he's saying and interpret it in like 100 different ways. You know, we just don't know. Look, all we can do is just debate and theorize on what someone might be thinking or how things might pan out. We don't know. We never ever know for sure. I don't know anyone outside.
Do you know the funny thing, Haz? Look, everyone on this panel is a YouTuber, right? What makes me laugh is we're just normal football fans sitting around theorizing, surmising, guessing, guesstimates, whatever word you want to put on it. And lots of people in the chats go mad at you. And it's like, they're just opinions, right? It's just, we don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What we're talking about in this room tonight isn't going to persuade. Harry Kane's not watching this. If you are, Harry, put in a super chat, please, because I bet you're really rich.
Come on, Harry.
Right? Here, come on, Harry. Come on and tell us, Harry. Like,
we'll send you the link. We'll put the link just for you, Harry.
Yeah, maybe Danny Kiriakou, by the way, people, messaged me at 9:49 saying, are you on for much longer? I can't stand this nonsense I'm hearing. But yep, join. He put just booting up.
Oh, he's bottled it. It's that dial-up from 1999. That's what he's got.
We'll let him off. He's a good guy. We'll see you next week, Danny. Listen, on a serious note, the last thing I wanted to talk about, we talk about winning things. Lots of people keep coming up with the same thing, guys, right? Lots of people keep coming up with this, well, even if we sold Harry Kane and we got 100 million, whatever it is, right, we wouldn't spend the money correctly. Now, this is a really interesting one because first and foremost, we buy players every window. Now, some work out, some don't. That's the nature of signings. But there's loads of people saying, oh, if he signed Harry Kane like now, that he'd pocket that 100 million. And we won't see any more signings in this window. As much as I don't like, here he is. As much as I do not like Levy or Enoch, there is not a chance if they sold Harry Kane right now that 100 million does not get invested, Barry. I'll come to you after, Danny. Does not get invested straight back into the team for a centre-back, for Gift Orban, etc., etc. I think now we're getting to the point, Barry, where the hate is getting so strong that we're making really silly arguments. What do you make of that?
Well, of course, we're making silly arguments. That's why Danny's come on now, isn't he? To come and make a silly argument.
Here he is. Here he is.
I'm just waiting for. He's like the clone of Alex Davis. He's like the Waffle Office Junior. I'm just waiting. Danny, come on, mate.
See, no, come on. You got to ask the question, so answer it, Barry. Stop coming away from the question. Come on.
Mate. You've been talking nonsense. Come on.
You talk nonsense. I want to hear the nonsense you talk. Let's hear it. Come on.
Mate,
ask you a question.
I know I talk nonsense. It's absolutely fine. I'm fine with it. Yeah, I've made peace with that.
I talk.
Like
facts,
Drusilla
mate.
says, let the ITK speak.
No, come on. He's asked you a question, so answer the question.
I can't remember what the question was.
exactly why you're not answering it. You're not listening.
Danny,
I'm not using my ears. I'm not using my ears.
Spraying?
Huh?
Are you going to start spraying with a Uzi now?
Yeah.
No. I want to hear what Barry has to say for this question.
I can't remember the question. It's late.
Was it something to do with like the not reinvesting into the team or like something like that, or like from the Harry Kane money we won't spend 100 mil?
Well, I think we've already. If he's going, which everyone thinks he is, Danny doesn't think he is. I've just seen his Twitter. Normally he's arguing with people, but he's actually talking some sense. Of course, they've already spent some of it. Surely, they've already spent some of it on Van der Ven. No. They haven't just whipped it out down the back of the sofa.
See, Nick, you just flip-flop on the opinion that I'm a flip-flop. That's how bad you are. I mean,
comment has come out. Jeez.
Literally, I mean, you don't even know what you're saying half the time.
Shot fired.
Look, I don't think Kane's going. I actually don't think he's going. Like after what I saw today, I just don't see it. That to me today, that didn't look like a man who's leaving Tottenham, in my opinion, or a man who really wanted to get out of the club.
This is a complete 180 from Danny, by the way, from the show that I think, Alan, you were in that show as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Who's calling someone a flip-flop?
Flopping, Danny? No, he's flip-flopping.
No, because I said, what did I say, Sam? What did I say?
Listen, the other day, Danny was like, yeah. He can't leave for free, blah blah blah. This afternoon I hear him on a show going, I know Sava won't like this. Sava won't like this. But do you know what? Yeah, let him go on a free. We've got loads of money. Now, let me tell you why I find this so hypocritical, right? And why I love this man. Danny is part of the Levy Enoch out movement, right? Cool. No problem with that. But you're putting your trust in a guy that you want to protest to get out to spend the money that we won't be getting back for the striker.
No, do you know what it is, Sam?
I don't get it, mate.
I don't think we're going to get the striker regardless of Kane going or not. Like that's
we
that's
will.
how...
We'd get a gift Orban or something.
Do you think we'll go for a gift Orban if Harry Kane was to leave? Do you actually? I don't think we will.
Or something. I said or something.
Something. Yeah, something. Yeah.
Or something.
Fraser Campbell's brother he's ready.
We'll get Wout Weghorst apparently is looking for a loan move to the Premier League this year.
Do you know what, Sam? Honestly, that wouldn't even surprise me. That's how bad it is.
But don't you think, Danny, look, on a serious note, don't you think, though, that you can see from some of these players we're buying now that these are very much identified by Ange Postecoglou. Yeah.
I think
a Van der Ven we wouldn't have gone for before. A Solomon we wouldn't have gone for. Maddison, we've had managers that didn't want that. I feel like if you're going to give a manager money to spend, I feel like this guy will know who works for his formation and who won't. I would be confident with this guy.
Do you know what it is, Sam? I think it's because of the philosophy the club, everyone, they want to go, the way they want to play football is the way they've kind of identified their targets, right? It looks like they want to play a certain style of football, and the players they've targeted, I think Gabonini's had a massive role in this, right? I think he's like stepped up a level since Paratici's gone, and I think that he's obviously probably still in the background in some capacity. That's Paratici, but I think that Gabonini is gone out and worked with Ange to kind of identify who they think's good and who's affordable, who will actually fit in the system that he wants to play. And I think all the players that he's very happy with that they brought in. I don't think there's one player that they've brought in that he hasn't liked or he hasn't really liked, right? And I think that's a promising thing, that they're looking for players who are not in that kind of upper echelons of money, right? Do you know what I mean? Who's going to be like extortionate prices to go and get like a 60, 70 million pound type of player. They're looking at the lower brackets of that.
But isn't that the right thing then? Because let's be fair.
Thing.
If look, like for example, I don't want to bring back to Conte, Jose, but if you gave the money to them, they'd want to go and spend 100 million on one player. They'd want a top player. I just feel like if now might be the perfect time to go again. This is if he doesn't want to sign a contract. Tap sober. Gift Orban still gives you 20 million. Plus, you're still going to sell a few others. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I was saying on the streams earlier that if we were to go, it was guaranteed that we were going to go and get like a Sangare, go and get a Gift Orban and maybe like a Tap Sober, right, with the Kane money, I'd be all for that. I would say 100% get rid of him now, sell him, bring in those players, because those 3 key positions are going to completely like revamp your squad, right? Like already, that's three starters for me. If you go and get a Gift Orban, you go and get a them 3 players, right? And with the Harry Kane situation, right? Like for me, like when we were discussing this last week on your show or earlier in the week, where I was saying that I would take the money for it. When I was thinking about it afterwards, like over the last few days, I thought, do you know what? It actually doesn't really make a difference, because I do think that the club, we shouldn't need to rely on Harry Kane to go and revamp the squad. If, in my honest opinion,
I agree. Danny, I completely agree on that. And let's be honest, I think everyone in here, I reckon I'm going to say something that everyone in the chat and everyone on the panel agrees with. Let's see if I can get nearly 804 people to agree on. Right? I think every one of us would be really happy if Harry Kane signed a new contract this week. And we went out and got Gift Orban, and Tap Sober, and a DM, and you go, hang on, this is what we've been talking about. I think everyone would be happy with that.
Sean will be like in happy.
Don't talk for me, Danny. Don't you ever talk for me.
Sean will be like,
don't you ever talk for me, bro.
Yes, he's done it. I mean.
The only way we get Orban is if he's gifted to us.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Oh wow,
shocking.
I mean, look, the stuff on Harry Kane, right? Like for me, I know you've had this conversation earlier, but I just think that today, what I saw with Maddison, I want to see more of that this season. I think them 2 together this season, if they're here, I think it's going to revolutionize the way we play football, and you're going to see a completely different Tottenham this season with them 2 playing together.
I don't disagree. By the way, Harry, listen, we'll only know it's you if you put in a super chat that's over the value of £20. Just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, up to you.
Not a fresh haircut. That's last year's. That's the last year's pick.
Sean, let me bring you in here. And well, I'm not going to go for too much longer, but Sean, let me bring you in here. Look, he scored 4 goals today. Lots of people obviously now saying the same thing that Danny was saying. Like, he didn't look like a guy that wanted to leave, of course, blah, 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 blah. This can't drag past next weekend, can it? This whole up in the air. Surely this week we need something from someone, whether it's Kane, whether it's his agent, whether it's Bayern pulling out, whether it's Levy saying not for something has got to come through where we all know where we are going into the start of this season, right?
Well, we're going to know. Oh, my camera's gone. Hang on. Come back.
He's getting too excited.
I think the answer will happen. We know what's going to happen. If he plays against Brentford, he stays. Right? But what happens between now and Sunday is, look, it's going to be interesting. And listen, to me, I was trying to make the point, Saga. I went through a delicate. The reason why I turned the camera on, the camera off for a minute, was for two reasons. One, I had to go to the bathroom. Two, I was a little bit irritated, if I'm honest, by the fact that I played out this entire narrative of why Daniel Levy's litmus test is occurring right now. And I went through the rationale for why, and you went, yeah, that's a little bit complicated. All I want to know is he...
I didn't say it was complicated. I didn't say it was complicated.
Exactly what you said. It's exactly what you said. I was a little bit. I was like, I've just lined out. It's not the question mark around Daniel Levy and Harry Kane is not. Does Daniel Levy sell Harry Kane, or does he keep him and lose him for free? There's far more to it than that.
Of course there is. Really difficult to put far more to it in a poll, though, right? Like, do you know what I mean? I can only ask one question.
No, but I wasn't asking for a poll. I was just giving my thoughts. And someone went, yeah, that's interesting, Sean, but it's really complicated. Let's get back to Alan's opinion. Alan,
Sean,
what do you think about gift or ban? And the conversation just moved on.
Sean,
so I was like, I'm going to show my bloody.
I didn't do a poll for
camera.
you. I did a poll because someone in the chat asked for a poll with the question I had asked, not the question you had asked. Hence why
I was asking my own version of. I was asking we've all got our own versions, mate. We've all got our own.
We can do another poll on another show in the next week. Don't worry, we can do more polls. Yeah.
No, there's no more polls. This is my final appearance on Football Heritage TV. I love you all. See you later. And I'm out. No, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. We'll talk about it.
So, are you going to answer the question?
Sounded complicated to me, if I'm honest.
Oh my gosh, we've got to that stage of the night, haven't we? Someone else. The question was, we've got to get some news this week from someone, whether it be Kane, his agent, the club, Bayern pulling out. Somebody has got to come out.
Do you know what I think will happen? I would like to see happen. I'd like to see the club reject the offer, so it's an official rejection, and that's it for the season, and let the season get on with the season. Because I think it's such a Harry Kane is a massive part of this club right now, right? And I think, we need a bit more clarity on what's going on, because I think for everyone's sake who's involved, fans, the club, himself, Bayern Munich, just needs to kind of stop this rubbish that's going on with this media circulation rubbish that's happening at the moment. Because it's like they're just playing around with it, aren't they? They're trying to push over Tottenham and say, look, we're Bayern Munich, just give us your player and that's it. I think, in my opinion, I'd love to see this would be a one for Levy if he just goes, you know what, reject the offer and that's it, be done with it. Just make it official so everyone knows where things stand, where he stands. Because I think from his point of view, Harry Kane's point of view, he's definitely open to the move to Bayern Munich. That's for sure, right? It's for sure. But I think he's put it in the club's hand, and he's basically said, look, it's on you now. If you accept this, I'm going. If you don't accept it, I'm staying. And then I'll do what I want.
You said that Harry Kane's open to the move to Germany, but that's not what you were saying on Percy TV this morning.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
You were saying, how do you know Harry Kane wants to go? That's what you were saying.
Hold on. Hold on. No. What did I actually say, Alan? What did I actually say? No. Hold on, Sean. Well, hold on.
Where have we heard that Harry Kane
He's coming at me, so now I'm going to say what I'm going to say, right?
Flip-flop.
Sean, hold on. Let me answer, because he's saying one thing, and that's not exactly what I said, right? What did I actually say, Alan? What did I actually say?
It's the same old narrative. Unless you can repeat me verbatim, then I didn't say it, and you're a liar. Saba's mastered that art. Saba's the master of that. Did I say
it's coming for you now, Sam.
You're a liar.
Hang on. Let's all go to the school of Sean and go back to science class and do litmus tests. I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Alan, right?
Let's all get a tripod out and some litmus paper.
Danny, if I remember verbatim, your words were, where have we heard, or how have we heard, or when have we heard that Harry Kane wants to go to Bayern Munich?
No, but I also said, right? What did I also say? What did I also say? Right, I'll tell you what I said, right? What I said was Harry Kane, right? The way that the media portrayed it right now is that Harry Kane is open to the move to Germany, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean he wants to leave. I said that the way it is now is the fact that if he doesn't get the move, he is still happy to stay at the club, right? That's what I
This
said.
opinion is sponsored by
You
Harry
say
Kane.
basically he's left it
You are-
in,
that is what I
left it
said,
in the
right?
club's hands.
That is what I said. He's put it in the club's hands because if the club do not accept the bid, right, that means the club do not want him to go. If the club accept the bid, it means that they want him to go, right? That's what it means. That's what it means. That's exactly. No, you can go back and watch the stream. That's exactly what I said.
Danny. You're doing it again.
Barry, go back to bed, Barry. You're falling asleep anyway, so you don't even know what you don't even know what we're talking about.
Danny's getting
So-
all personal.
No, you go back to bed, Barry. Come on, go back to bed. It's sleepy
So,
time.
I would like to say that Danny did say that he said this, but he did originally say on this stream, you can go back for about a minute, and he did say, I did say that, but then I said, and so you did say...
No, it's context, Alan. It's what I said is the whole
Context.
opinion. It's the
Context.
whole opinion of what I said about Harry Kane.
Also
Right?
known as.
I didn't
Ignore
say-
what I said. Ignore
I never
what I
said-
said. Let me explain what I
Sean,
meant.
be quiet, right? I said exactly what I just said just a minute ago, right?
Forget
he's
what I
open
said.
to it,
Allow
but
me
if he
to
doesn't,
wriggle
if the bid is
out
not accepted,
what I said
he's not
by
going.
explaining what
How?
I meant.
Hold on.
This is called
How is it a
Captain
flip flop?
Habiana,
How
not
is it?
Sean.
No, hold on. I'm not Sean Butler here, and I'm not Barry Delusional Barry, right? Range, right? I know exactly what I said, and I will always repeat exactly what I said. A few days ago, I said something different, but now I'm saying this, and this is what I've
You're a
said.
flip flop, yeah?
Oh my god, it's your opinion. Oh my god.
Listen, just while we all think about flip flops, not saying this guy is, but big up to everyone. Ben, thank you for the super chat. Ben Kaufman, the #1 moderator, he also thinks Danny is a flip flop. Big up to you. And then we've got some VIPs with some super chats here. We've got Donna Cullen saying, "Mr. Butler, you and I are definitely a thing."
No, we ain't. No, we ain't. I've seen you. I've seen what you've been doing, you little flirt.
Mr. Sava, you know you're a special one for me. Donna wants to know if Flip Flop is single. Today he is, tomorrow he won't be. That's the nature of a flip flop. And
Yes,
Harry
Sarah.
Kane has said, "I'm here. Talk to me." Auntie Donna told me. I mean, this unbelievable. Guys and girls, I don't know how much longer I can go for. Five more
flip flop this evening.
5 more minutes, guys.
No. You lot are just deaf. That's the problem. You don't listen with your ears.
Mate, you're
Sorry,
changing your
Sam.
narrative like the wind.
Do you know what Danny will say, right?
Oh, look who's woken up now. Oh, look who's woken up.
Is Danny Kyriakou just a Greek version of Mr. Box Office?
Yes.
Is that what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr.
No.
Savlaki.
I talk facts. I don't talk idiocracy.
It is.
Yeah, don't talk idiot.
What was that? What was that, Danny? What was that you talk? What was that? You don't talk?
I don't talk idiot.
Listen, just quickly, I am going to shut this off bang on 11 now. Bang on 11, which is 8 minutes away. Right, guys and girls, the press conference afterwards with Postecoglou, he mentioned that we will be making more defensive reinforcements. I'm praying that by that he didn't mean Longley. I'm really worried that when we fly there this week, he's going to come back with us. Who do we think he's talking about? Because I mean, I can't imagine us forking out for Tapsoba as well as Van der Ven. Where's our heads at with all of this defensive reinforcements? And do you just think we're talking about centre halves?
No,
Yeah, well, he said centre half. He said we're going to be buying more centre halves, right? Is what he said, yeah?
Yeah, that could be more aggressive, right?
I mean,
Sorry, just so I understand. He said, because I haven't seen his post match press conference. He said we're going to reinforce the centre halves. Is that what you're saying? He said
After Van der Ven.
Is that what he said, Sabo?
He came out today. God, hang on, I had the quote here somewhere. I can't
I haven't
find it
seen
now.
so
I
I'm
haven't
asking
seen
you.
it either.
Let me find it. Let me find it. I thought everyone would have seen these quotes.
No, I haven't, mate. I was on a 7-hour stream, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Ranj, you're supposed to have these quotes. You're normally the quote master.
Yeah, Ranch.
He did say centre backs, Sean, yes. Okay, 24 legs in the house with the corrections. He did say, so he's saying we're going to
I've got
sign
it here.
more centre backs. That
I've got it
can't
here, Trevor.
possibly mean Van der
You
Ven.
got
He's
them?
not talking about Van
No,
der Ven.
Right, go on, Has.
So they asked him, Postecoglou on Van der Ven and the centre-back position. He was asked, he said, it's not done yet. We need bolstering in that central defensive area. We need defenders who can work in an aggressive formation, defend well and behind them. We'll be looking to bring in a couple in that area in the coming days.
Come on!
Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on, Alan.
Yeah.
We need players that can play in an aggressive formation and in behind them. I'm pretty sure this is how the show started. Me saying that we needed better defenders.
Don't say it. Sean will go off. No, don't say it. Don't say it.
No,
You've done it again.
You're doing it. Yes, everybody.
Sean, context, please, Sean. Let's have some context.
Context. Let me explain what I didn't say. Let me explain why what I said before was not what
Seriously,
I meant.
guys. Who's he talking about? When he's saying we're going to
Verbatim,
bolster
please.
there,
Verbatim.
who are
Van
we
der
going?
Ven and one of Tap Sober or a
Longley.
Laporte. And if
Longley.
that happens, we are
Guys,
good
guys.
people. We are
Guys, the key word he used, right, is a couple, not just a defender. He said a couple of defenders. Right. So that
Van der Ven's one of them, surely.
it could still be a Longley and another.
No,
And
it's
Longley
Van
ain't
der
coming.
Ven
You know why
and it's
Longley's not
Longley.
coming? Because I've already lost a bet to Henry, and I've got 2 other bets going around Longley not coming in, and I don't lose 3 bets on the spin. Doesn't happen. So Longley is not arriving.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so Longley. Okay, we're all ruling him out.
Yeah.
Clip this.
definitely.
We're all ruling him out. If he does come in, I'm just going to
Longley-
cry.
Is Rand sleeping again?
Didn't think
So-
so. There you go.
So,
Let's move on.
okay, so does anyone truly believe? Like, I'm going to bring this player up. Aymeric Laporte from Man City. What's the appetite? I'll be honest. I've said if Spurs go and sign Laporte, I will turn around and do a video praising Daniel Levy, because for me,
Yeah,
that is the type of player that you go, that's ambition. And by the way, Harry Kane, you wanted to see some ambition.
Yeah,
We've just signed
spot on.
Laporte.
Yeah, spot on.
Would
Yeah, exactly
would
that.
he want to come to Tottenham? There's the question for you guys.
Do
you know what, Sav?
Turned us
Go on,
down,
Alan.
hasn't he? He's already said he's already come out and turned us down. The thing is, although Laporte isn't the
Not
quick,
officially.
he's played in a
No,
high
yeah,
line for Man City before. Like, he's done it for year on year with Pep. So he's aware of, like we were talking about earlier, not setting Sean off, but in being able to read the game and know when it's coming in behind and adjust and be ready. So he's a perfect fit. I would love it to be him or Tapsoba. I think it's going to be more like and it's not a bad thing. It's just
Long
not
late.
as ready to fix it. Tosin. I think it might be a Tosin.
I'd be happy with Tosin and Van der Ven for
I
now.
would, but it's just not. I think you've got the level of Laporte and
It's
Tapsoba.
levels, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's levels. So
Yeah, of course.
Like if you're Harry Kane, Alan, if you're Harry Kane, we use him because apparently he's the only person that matters at this club to please. Not all of the fans. Do you know what I mean? Just Harry Kane. If you're Harry Kane and they go, right, we've just signed Laporte, who plays centre half for Man City in Spain, versus we've just signed, no offense to him, but we've just signed Tosin Adarabioyo, who plays for Fulham.
Yeah.
I think for me then again says we're happy to be this club, or we want to go to be
the next
this
level.
club.
Yeah,
Do you think?
Is that fair?
Sav,
yeah, that's fair.
do you think because like Laporte, right? If you go, like you said, right, you go and sign Laporte, that is telling everyone who's around in and around who's involved with Spurs that they're trying to be ambitious, right? Because going to sign a player of that level will definitely say something to Harry Kane. He'll look at that and be like, oh, okay, you're signing these kind of players now, right?
For sure.
So and then the reporters have said about Kane that he's happy to stay if the club do not accept an offer, right? So if that's the case, and then Tottenham go out this week and go and sign like a Laporte, or the next 2 weeks go and sign someone like that, for me, that's bolstering your left side, right? So then you've got Van der Ven and Laporte as your left-sided players, right? That is just incredible if you can do that. And I think what they're probably counting on is maybe this season it will be like if they could do something like that, they might look at it and think Laporte and Van der Ven as your left centre backs, and then you've got Dyer and Romero as your right centre backs, right? And then Romero could also kind of fill into that role if needed. Emerson could also fill into that role if needed, sort of thing. If they were going to do that just for this season, and then they can maybe go for another defender next season, I'd be happy with that for now. if they kept Harry Kane as well.
Look,
Yeah, can you imagine Van der Ven left back, Laporte centre back with Romero and Porro?
Yeah.
For
you
me,
hating on Doji?
no, I'm not. Hang on, hear me out on this. The reason I say that is what I think that allows you to do is that allows Porro to get in the team who offers pace and going forward scoring goals.
Yeah.
And then what that allows to do is Van der Ven, who's naturally a left centre half, to tuck in and make it a free for when Porro goes bombing forward.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think you've got the same type of player that allows you to do that on the right.
I think it gives you options where on some days you can play Udogie on the left, Emerson on the right.
Sure.
Other days you can play Porro on the right and Van der Ven on the left. I get it.
It gives us options we've never had previously. That's the thing.
Definitely.
And also, the other thing that I was going to say is the fact that he's actually specified that there's certain type of player that he's looking for.
Yeah, that's good.
He is getting the player that he wants, not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry from a European club.
Hold up, Haz, mate. It sounds like you're sounding a little bit Levy-inish there. The players that he needs. Careful, bro. People are listening.
Wait, hold on a minute. You're putting words into my mouth here.
He does that a lot.
He's taken his hat off and he's gone brave now. Look.
On road. He's on road.
Right. What I'm trying to say is, right, Postecoglou's come out and he's given specific, he's given a specific type of defender that he's looking for. To me, I've not heard any other manager in the last 5 years to come out and say, I'm looking for a defender that can do X, Y, Z. He's come out and he said that. That to me suggests, right, I'm bringing in the player that I want for my system. Did you hear Conte say that last season? Did you hear Mourinho say that season before that? Or Nuno or anyone else? No. So for me, it's a positive sign. I'm trying to be positive.
Let me ask you now. Let me ask you, Haz. Let me ask you this, right?
Go on.
Because I know what will happen if we end up because I think the season's gonna. I think if we go and get a second centre back, if we go and get a Laporte, if we go and get a Tosin, Tapsoba, whoever, if we go and get that second centre back that he wants, then I still think that Tottenham's season is going to start with a significant amount of volatility. I'm the most positive guy I can be when it comes to general Tottenham things. I like to look for this, but I still think that this season, I'm not expecting much this season. I want to see wonderful progress with the attitude, the mentality, the football style, and I'll take 7th, 8th, whatever, right? But I'm expecting there to be moments when we get absolutely creamed by big teams. I'm expecting us to beat big teams.
The building process.
Whatever, right? But this season for me is a big building process. But what I also expect, more than anything in the world, I will lay my house on this, that by January, if Tottenham are having a bad season, the conversation from certain members of the fan base will be, was Ange backed? Was he backed? Right? Which is not going to be a conversation that ever happens if we're 2nd or 3rd at Christmas.
No.
If we're 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th at Christmas, which is entirely possible, was he backed? Was Levy the response? All that shit's going to come out again.
It all depends, though.
What I want to hear from each of you, let me finish my rant, because I'm sorry I'm drunk, but it's been a long day. Let me finish my rant, right? If we are 10th, if we are 11th, if we are in a predicament, but Ange got his second centre back, if it is Tapsoba, if it is Tosin, if it is Laporte, was he backed? I want to hear that shit now. Well, not now. I want to hear it on September the 1st.
Yeah, but 100%, 100%. But what would be funny is if Ange is specifically given attributes of the type of player they want, and they go and get Longley. Now that is the definition of a club signing. And
thus far, Danny, has he been backed?
Yeah, definitely. 100% he has.
Oh, clip that. Because I know what Danny's going to be saying if we're 14.
No. I will always be honest with what I say, right? I will always be honest with what I say. Don't flip-flop like the way you guys do.
Honest. You're reactionary.
Apart from
I know
Sava,
you, Danny. You're the most reactionary of all the reactionaries.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Sava does not flip-flop.
No, you don't. Actually, you don't.
I don't.
Oh, Alan, you're a man.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
come
No,
on.
I'm only joking.
What have I
I'm
put?
only
What,
joking.
I'm
I've
joking.
exposed Danny Kiriakou in this show that he's a.
You haven't exposed nothing. You can go back and watch the videos. You ain't
I'm
exposed
joking.
nothing.
Don't put it's fine.
Rattled.com. Danny's rattled. Danny's rattled.
I'm missing the point
Look
again.
at Andrew's face, how it's frozen.
Do you know what? Do you know what I wish? I wish when people put comments, when people put comments in the chat, I'd really love that one word of context. Like, this doesn't mean anything. Like, what do you mean Sava's missing the point again? About what? What am I missing? Guys and girls, please like the stream. I feel like we've put on quite a good performance, a good show for you tonight. We've got 658 likes, which is absolutely mental.
Smash the likes, guys.
Smash the subscribes. If anyone hasn't subscribed,
Do you know what, Sava?
please
Just
do.
even just say it. Just smash the like just to see Angie's face. Just look at that face. You gotta love it. I mean, just hit that subscribe button just to see more of that. Come on, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, smash the subscribe button before you go. We will be wrapping up in a minute. But look, it's Sean does bring up a good point, doesn't he? It's if we've won 5 or 6 games on the spin at the beginning of the season, it will be there you go. That's what happens when a manager is backed. If we lose 5 or 6 games at the beginning of the season, it's same old Spurs. He makes a good point.
Blame Daniel Levy.
I do agree with that. I mean, I would say so
And
far.
you've got prime candidate, prime evil right here. Cannot wait. And
I'll say it. Yeah.
This guy right here, he's on the part. He's
Look,
part of the
Sean,
team as well.
the thing is,
He's
right?
part
The
of
thing
that
is,
group.
listen, we haven't signed those players yet. We haven't even signed Van de Ven yet. It's going to happen, but we still haven't signed him, right? We have to wait and see who those signings are, because if it is a long lay that they bring in, that's nowhere near what he said.
Listen,
what
I'm
he wants
doing
in a defender, right?
I'm doing a transfer window deadline day stream, and I'm not going to focus at all on whether or not players coming in. My entire stream is going to be focused on getting individual people like Sava,
Sean,
like you, like Has.
Sean,
like
remember our deadline day plan. Remember our deadline day plan.
Yeah, of course we're doing that. But on my 6-hour shift, you are all invited to come on to basically tell me whether he was backed or not, because I need anecdotal, I need videography evidence, so that later on, when you start to moan when things go wrong, he wasn't backed, it's Daniel Levy's fault. I go, was that what you said? Is that what you said on September the 1st? We're going to find out. That's what's going to happen.
Wait, Sean just wants to play Danny's clip from tonight. I told you.
Yeah, listen, it's a really good point, though, isn't it? I mean, so far, I think that he has been given players that I think suit his system. Van de Ven, I think we can pretty much say is done. He was there in the crowd today. I think that you had. Oh God, sorry, my mind's gone blank. Solomon, I think, looks like he's going to be very good in an Ange Postecoglou type of formation. I think you've got Basuma. I think, but that for me is like a new signing. And I normally hate it when people say that, but that for me, I felt like we didn't see any of that from him last year. Not his fault. I do blame Conte on that one, but I feel like that's a new signing. I feel like we're going to see more out of Sarr because we didn't get to see him last year. So I do feel that he's being given some players that work for him, guys.
Yeah. Well, from
Yeah,
He gets one more centre back, and ain't nobody can complain. If I hear people complaining, I'm just going to ridicule them. I'm going to clip everybody and go, "What are you chatting?" He needs one more centre back. He needs one more centre back.
So no.
Not for me. It depends, though, doesn't it? Sorry, just Alan, just really quickly before we come in. I think when people, this is what I mean by context. When people say things like, "If we just get one more centre back, we're good," I want people. What does that mean?
We're good for this stage. You can't go and get another left back to make sure he's secure. You can't go and get another right back. You can't go and get another 6, another 8, But you can't do everything in one window. But for this window, Daniel Lee, if he gets one more centre back in and then gets rid of the Dross, even if the Dross goes out on loan, that doesn't affect us. That affects the club, but it shouldn't affect the fans. If we get one more centre back in of high quality caliber, surely to God, there's not a single Tottenham fan that can sit there and say, especially if Harry Kane stays. If Harry Kane leaves, maybe that adds another variable. But if Harry Kane stays and we go and get tap sober, surely to God, there can't be a Tottenham fan alive that can sit there and say this has been a terrible window. until things fall apart.
I
And then when
agree with
things
you.
go wrong, you wait. They'll all come out of the woodwork. He wasn't backed.
But
Because guess
Sean-
what? Maddison
but
got
Sean,
injured the 6th day. And guess
my
what?
point to all of
Solomon
this-
broke his leg on the 3rd week. That was
my
Daniel Levy's fault.
point to all of this was when people say things like that, what does it mean? So like for me, if we finished with, let's say you bring in one more centre half and that's it this window. So we bring in Van der Ven plus Tosin, Laporte, whoever it may be, right? That for me is then when you go, okay, cool. We've got those players in. I'm happy with this window. My expectations for this year are what? Right? Because lots of people think that if you say, oh, I want one more defender, that it means, oh, what? One more defender and we'll win things. No. Hang on.
I just mean you can't moan at the window.
No, I know, but this is what
That's
I'm saying.
what I mean when I say you can't moan. I mean, you might have expectations that are slightly more uphill than others. Some people might say, just I'm okay with it not being a disaster. Other people might say European qualifications, the bare minimum, whatever. But all I'm saying is that if Harry Kane stays and we go and get a Tapsoba, for example,
I said this before,
any
right?
Tottenham fan cannot, with all conscience, say it's been a bad window.
At the beginning of this window, I said, right, that if Tottenham are able to keep Kane and they go and sign Van der Ven and Tapsoba with what we've already signed, that for me is the best window I've ever seen under Daniel Levy. For me, right? That's what I said at the beginning of this window, right? Because we've addressed 2 crucial areas with 2 good players who instantly improve our starting lineup and go and keep Harry Kane and sign James Maddison. That for me is an unbelievable window. I'm not saying it's the best window we've ever, but it's under Levy. It's the best I've ever seen. And I said that from the beginning of the window.
All right. Perfect.
Danny, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think the difficulty is there are a lot of fans that don't have any patience, and I don't think they'll understand how long this is going to take. This is not going to happen overnight.
Definitely
Even if he gets his players in now, look, we're looking at a few days before the season starts. So, if we go into does anyone think Van der Ven's going to go to Barcelona tomorrow?
No. I'm not even sure he'll start against Brentford, Sava.
Right. So this is my point. So it's not like you're starting with the players, but I think you have to then take the positives. We can't always look at what's happened in the past. Yeah, it's not been great. Yes, I don't like the owners, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The key thing for me is this, guys. If they do what you just said, Danny, and we get those, you get Laporte, Van der Ven, Maddison, Solomon, Vicario, all in one window.
Great.
Okay, great. Ashley Phillips and Valisa's youngsters as well. Great.
Yeah, great.
But for me, this isn't about one window.
No.
Where Spurs go wrong is I want to know that when we then get to January and we need 1 or 2 more, that we can at least get
defensive
one.
mid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then when we get to the next summer, I want to know that we're doing that again. It can't be, well, hang on, we had a great summer last year.
Can I ask one, without trying to wind anybody up, can I ask one question? Right, because it's been playing on my mind. When you go and sign Ash Phillips, and you've got someone like Dorrington that's waiting in the wings as well, that neither of them are ready yet, but they're going to be ready in a year, 18 months, 2 years. I've been making this point on my channel. Is there an argument to say if you've got if Tapsoba is going to cost you 70 million euros and you're going to struggle to get Laporte for 30 million euros or 40, whatever they want, does it make more sense to spend 50 million euros or 60 million euros, give Man City what they want, an offer they can't refuse, and give Laporte what he wants, an offer he can't refuse, to bring him in? Because if you go and get Tapsoba, you've got Tapsoba, Romero, and Van der Ven that are all 23 or 24 years old, and you've got 2 superstar players coming through the youth in Ash Phillips and Dorrington that are never going to get any minutes. Whereas you go and get a Laporte who's 31 or 30, you bring him in, you let him lead the line, you let him do everything he needs to do right now. There's going to be no risk with him. 2-3 years time, he can walk off into the sunset. And then by that point, you've got these superstars, Ash Phillips and Dorrington, that can move in. Are we doing the same thing? Are we doing it again? Are we doing it again by having all of these young players that are in the youth team that can't buy a minute because we're always buying young players? We're always buying like kind of here now, ready now, young players as well. Does that make the point? My point.
I get what you're saying. Do you know what, Sean?
Yeah.
I think for me right now, I think we do need that level of quality player in that squad. I know we need to obviously have youngsters who can have a pathway into the team, but I think where we are right now, I think we need to try and build again from where we were last season and how we kind of finished. We have to give a bit. I think getting a player like Tapsoba or Laporte, it kind of shows the indication of the ambition of where they want to go, right? And I think we all need that as fans to see a kind of in a weird way without saying a plan. It's like you can see a plan coming along, right? If that makes sense, right? And I think that's what we all need right now. And I think having
would you take Tapsoba or Laporte?
Any one of them.
Yeah,
any one of them. Any one of them. Yeah.
Pick one.
I would prefer. I would say the only. Yeah, I'd probably say Laporte. I'd probably say Laporte. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, the thing with Laporte, look. First of all, I don't think we can get him. As I've said, I would love to come on this show and say I was wrong. We got Laporte. Laporte gives you three things. First of all, he's a natural winner. He's won everything now. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Second of all, he's got so much Premier League experience. Yeah. Third of all, he plays for a manager that plays high pressing, high line football.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knows what is expected of him. He's been there, seen it, done it. The negatives would be he's older, but he's only 29. It's not like he's not. Yeah. He's not.
That's
like
quite amazing, Fab, right?
He's like,
you get 3 years out of him, and you've got Dorrington waiting. You've got Phillips waiting. That's the point I'm making. If you go and sign a Tapsoba who's 24, where's the space for Dorrington or Ash Phillips? That's the point I'm making.
This is a bit harsh. This is a little bit harsh. 5 out of 10 for Vicario, 5 out of 10 for Solomon, and 5 out of 10 for Van der Ven. Oh, that's a little bit harsh, my man.
Yeah, it's a little bit harsh.
I think Van der Ven will surprise a lot of people. I do. What I've seen of him, I really like.
I do too.
And I think he's suited to the formation.
Can I just say, Will? I know you're watching. Obviously, you're in the chat. Your rankings and stuff, is that based on stats or is it just
probably? I can't believe you're calling people out in the chat.
No, I haven't called out anyone. I just want to know.
You have.
It's it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to know why.
Know what people base their ratings on. Is it because you've watched them over the past few seasons and rate them? Is it because you've looked at the stats? I just want to know. It's not me calling out anyone as such. It's just I'm curious to know.
But do you know what as well? I find it hard to rate players like that. Like, I know how Will's given his rating so far, right? But when you say like Vicario 5 out of 10 or Solomon, they haven't really played a competitive match for Spurs yet. So how can we give them any kind of ratings if we haven't even seen what they can do in a competitive match? And
probably agendas. Like,
it was kind of like
I don't want to like anything that's going on because I want to feel a certain way. That's why I'm going to give it a certain rating.
I feel like, look, sometimes guys and girls, look, sometimes the better players that you sign, not Spurs, I mean, this is all clubs. Sometimes the signings that we all look at and go, oh my God, that player's going to be brilliant, doesn't quite work out. And sometimes it's the players that go a little bit under the radar. Like so far, I'll be honest, what I've seen from Solomon so far, he's looked really good and lively. Now, again, to caveat that, Danny, your point was spot on. To be fair, it has been against 3 teams that we should dominate against. I think it's going to be really hard to judge any of these players until we've actually seen 3, 4, 5 to 10 games of them against proper Premier League opposition when that was nearly a word, opposition, where there's intensity. But like, for example, I think when you look at them, a lot of them do seem to fit what the manager wants. Like Van der Ven for me is like, I don't know if any of you saw it. I posted out on my YouTube community chat the other day a video of Van der Ven talking about himself last summer when he had just signed from Volendam to go to Wolfsburg. And he came across very mature. He knew his strengths. He also named his weaknesses, said what he needed to grow with, and said what, he said, I'm like, basically in as many words, I'm a leader, I'm a captain. So I think he suits what Ange wants, but let's not put so much pressure that the guy's going to come in and be our absolute savior in year one. Build and grow with these players. Do you know what I mean? Maybe bring in a Laporte that can coach and talk him through the game. Because Romero's not that guy. I'm not having a go at Romero. Romero's not that leader type. But I think Laporte could talk him through a game. So I think it's difficult to say at the moment.
You're saying you'd rather spend 40 million on Laporte than 70 million on Tapsoba, right?
Mate, listen, I'm not turning my nose up at either of them.
Yeah.
If I wake up tomorrow...
to get off the fence. Like, listen, there's not a lot of space on that fence. There's not a lot of space on the fence because Nick's been on there for about 6 weeks and Alan's on there for most of the evening.
But
Surely they got on there, mate, and collapse. So shut up.
Hang on, I'm trying to answer. I'm trying to answer it. I think the difficulty for me with this is I think the one that is more gettable is actually the one that is more expensive.
Yeah.
My worry would be if Spurs ring up Laporte, whether he's 30 million or 40 million, what is the... Listen, I might be playing us down, but what is the...
intentions.
What is the intentions and the drive for him to turn around to his agent and go, you know what? Yeah, I'll leave.
Do you know what, Sav?
Come on, Sav, here's the pitch. If I'm a salesman, here's the pitch.
Right, go on.
Aymeric, mate, you're not welcome at Man City anymore, right? But you've been an absolute masterclass of how to do it at a team that does it the way that we're trying to do it.
Yeah.
Right, we're nobody, right? We haven't smashed it for a long time, but we're moving in this particular direction. Look who we're signing, look who we're trying to sign, look who we've got going on. And do you want to be a leader, a massive part of the next journey? Is it not possible for you to reflect on your career in 5 years' time and say one of the greatest achievements that you did was not be a part of a team that would have won without you, but to be a team that would never have won without you? And that is what you could pitch.
Do players think like that?
Under Ange Postecoglou.
Do players that are used to winning year in, year out, do they think like that? It sounds good. It sounds alluring.
He's not wanted anymore. Guardiola's come in. Right, he's out. He's going somewhere. He's going somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
I know. I'm sorry. I know that's not you asked. I know that's what you asked.
Sure.
I don't know how they think, mate. I'm not a fucking winner in life. I don't know how people that have made 25 million quid in the last 12 months think. I don't know how that works. But what I would say is, if you are someone who's got a bit of an ego and doesn't like the fact that you've now been a winner forever, who's now been said, your time is up, you're no longer required. If another club says to you, I know you're a winner, we would love you to come in and be a leader in our passion project. I think Ange Postecoglou could sell that story.
Do you know what?
You're going
to be the cornerstone of.
I hear you.
What he did with a team that's always been Tottenham Hotspur.
It's like, do you know what?
Is a trophy.
It's romantic. It's romantic what you're saying. Yeah. Is it real? Is it plausible? My question is this: if Laporte is available, like we're saying, no one's gone for him. No one's gone for him. I just feel like this will be one of those players where the moment we put in a bid, you know what we're like. We will drag this out to kingdom come. We will drag it out forever. I just get the feeling it's the sort of thing where a Chelsea or Arsenal, somebody like that will come along and go, hang on, this is too good to be true, isn't it? 30 to 40 million for Laporte. Bang. And I get the feeling that we will dilly and dally with the deal so much that somebody will come in. I just feel he's too good to not get other suitors.
Is the pitch that I just made? Is it spicy?
I think that, do you know what?
Sure, but is it as spicy? Is it?
What I'm really asking for is you to validate my salesmanship. I don't care about Aymeric.
Is it as spicy?
I'm a salesman.
Sean, for me, because of that reason, Sean, I'm out. I'm not invested in that.
Do you know what? Yeah, honestly, I think that's the way that he would have to sell it to Laporte if he was going to have that conversation. Look, he's managed to sway Maddison, and I liked what Maddison came out and said in the way he came in the conversation. He goes, "I don't care if you're not going to come, but we're going to be a different team next year," and that's what sold it for him. And that's
I've never had the stones to be able to say something like that. So if I can put together a pitch like that wasn't that bad. Imagine what Ange could do if he had
hang on, Danny. Danny,
Go on,
I hear you. I feel like there's a massive difference, though, between us convincing somebody who's a treble winner playing at the best club in world football.
Not
as
anymore,
opposed,
though. He's not wanted there.
Hang on, Sean, let me finish, man. Please let me finish.
Let him land, bro. Let him land, bro.
Listen, please, listen, because I'm trying not to shout because people are sleeping and I can't finish my...
Sorry.
As opposed to going to get a James Maddison who's got 1 year left and has just been relegated. I feel like that's an easy pull because Spurs are a bigger club than Leicester. Does it work the same way coming down? He might not be wanted. Listen, as I said, if we go and get him, superb. If we go and get him, that will be the best signing if we go and get him for the last decade. He'll overtake Maddison, right?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
My worry is how slow we do business.
Yeah.
Could we just turn around to Man City and go, there's 40 million, bish, bash, bosh. You know what we'll do. They'll say we want 40 million. We will be in conversations with them for about 3 weeks till now and the end of the window, talking about we'll give you 25 plus 3 million add-ons. And it will just be like, that's my worry that another club comes in and goes, this is too good a deal. This is too good a player to not go and throw a hat in the ring. That's always been my concern. If I'm wrong,
I think it's definitely a concern because we've obviously gone through this many times before with many different players, and it's the same kind of situation we've been in, right? But I think like if Spurs were to go for him, like we're not saying we're going to go and get him, but you definitely put you'd make him think about it because he like Sean said, right? He's won everything there is to win in football, pretty much. I think he even won the World Cup with France, if I'm not mistaken. So he's won. Laporte, didn't he win with
Spanish?
France? Oh, sorry. Sorry. What I was going to say. I've lost it now. I was going to basically.
How are you going to flip flop, Danny? Yeah. Okay, cool.
No, Barry. No, just no. So with Laporte, I think you're right, Sav. If a club like Chelsea come in for him, there's obviously a lot more attraction because they're a big club, right? They're in the Champions, they're not in Champions League, but they're competing for the titles and stuff like this. But is that the same kind of pool? Maybe we don't know, right? I'm just oh fucking hell, I'm losing it. Sorry.
Hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking, right? If I'm hypothetically speaking with the situation, he might think, oh, why do I want to go to a Chelsea and just go and do the same thing again what I've done there, what I've done at Man City and try and compete for titles. It's more of a challenge if he goes and does it at a lower club like Spurs, right? It's a bigger challenge. So maybe he might see it as,
doubt that.
I
just don't know. Does he want that? He's 29. Does he want that at 29? That's all I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
not saying he doesn't. I just don't know many players that drop down like that at that level. I know he's not.
Isn't every move from Man City a drop down, Sava?
Right now,
yeah.
Unless you go to Real Madrid or Barcelona.
And Real Madrid don't want him, don't need him. Barcelona don't want him, don't need him, can't afford him.
Chelsea have got centre backs, so they've just signed. What's his name?
Where do you go? Bayern Munich don't need a centre back.
Who's the guy that went on loan at Brighton last year?
Special? Where does Laporte go? That is not a significant drop down from a Champions League winning team. Name me a club that can afford him and or need him.
But the problem is, this is the problem. We sit here as football fans going, this club don't need him, they don't need him, they won't bid. We don't know what club. Hang on. But we don't know. Man City don't really need Vardiol, and they've just gone and spent 77 million on him, right? That's other clubs might see that Laporte is being offered for 35 million and go, yeah, that's a deal. That's a steal.
Who?
Many, I'm saying I don't know. There could be clubs that come out. We're saying these clubs don't need defenders. How do you know what other clubs have got planned? We don't know what they've got planned.
I'm not saying that there's not going to be a line of people that want him. I'm saying what is the combination we're looking, because the argument is he doesn't want to come to Tottenham because Tottenham are such a significant step down, and the pitch to sign him that Tottenham are on this new version, this new mission, and we're going to move on to Ange Ball, and you, my man, are captain material. A, you're captain material. B, you're experienced in doing it. C, you can stay in the Premier League, earn giant money, blah, 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 blah. That pitch is not strong enough because there's other clubs that can pitch stronger. I'm asking who those clubs are And I don't know how many there are. There might be a few. But I'm saying that if you look around the top 4 clubs in any particular league, most of them either can't afford him or don't need him. So there's only going to be a few.
I've been hearing that all summer that we keep guessing other clubs' financials. Like they can't afford him. We're talking £35 million. We're not talking 75, 80 million.
Yeah, I think it's not affording him. I think it's more the fact that if they need that type of player,
or they need not just the money, but the wages. The guy earns
Liverpool maybe
a week, right?
Liverpool
140
grand a week.
How much?
Liverpool?
Wasn't it 140
grand a week?
Oh, even less than what.
Okay. So that's an interesting conversation. Would Manchester City would they rather sell him to Tottenham or to Manchester or to Liverpool?
Tottenham, because they're not direct rivals.
Correct.
Yeah, listen, you guys. Yeah, we're saying that, but Man City don't care who they sell to. Man City have shown that. Pep don't care. Pep will let Laporte pop. Pep won't be worried about letting Laporte go to Liverpool.
Name me the last time Man City sold a player to Manchester United or Liverpool or Chelsea or Arsenal.
Well, they're not gonna sell to Man United, are they?
It was
Tevez.
No, it was the Chelsea forward, the left forward. What's his name? The English player.
Mount.
Sturridge.
No.
Oh, Sterling.
Raheem Sterling. That's the last one, right? It's the last one.
Yeah, but we don't know who's bid. Look, there's clubs who might want to know. Listen, all I'm saying is, okay, if it's as easy as everyone's suggesting, let's go and do it. If it's that easy, I'm cool with it. But I just think when we sit here and guess that no other club needs Laporte and we're the only ones, I look at Liverpool, definitely need centre halves. Liverpool definitely need centre halves.
100%.
Right? I think Chelsea buy players they don't even need all the time. Right? Don't they? Chelsea just go, yeah, we'll have him. Yeah. What's stopping
Chelsea aren't going to sign 29-year-olds. I think that they're
okay. Then
I'm not saying disagreeing with you for the sake of it. I hear what you're saying. I 100% hear what you're saying. That signing Laporte is an unlikely scenario, and you're right.
I'd love to. Sean, I would love to. I just can't remember the last time Spurs went out and done a deal like this. Can anyone name it?
Listen, I absolutely.
Hang on, I'm asking a question. Can anyone name it?
Klinsmann.
Right. This is my point. When did we last go to a bigger club and take a top player?
Yeah.
That's why when people
Van der Vaart in the last decade, right? Van der
Vaart because he wasn't wanted and was for 8 million on the last day of the window, right?
Good point.
Yeah. Can anyone name another one?
It's unusual. You're right. And listen, and Laporte, to be honest, Laporte coming to Tottenham is very unlikely. I guess the reason why we're having this conversation in the first place is that it was more of a speculative debate around who would you rather have if you could, who's a better fit for the squad. Is it Laporte at 40 or is it Tapsoba at 70? And the reason I asked that question is because we got 2 players coming through the youth system in Ash Phillips and in Dorrington. And if you go and sign a Tapsoba, who's only 24, he's on a 5-year contract, then is there any reason to have Ash Phillips or Dorrington? You know what I mean? That's the reason I asked the question.
No,
where's the access? Where's the access coming from? Whereas if you go and sign a Laporte, you use him for 2 years. He can.
By the way, he's only 29. He could do another 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
but listen, my issue isn't Laporte. By the way, everyone, I feel like people in the chat are getting me wrong. It's Tottenham. Right. So when people are saying, so what would stop Pep and Man City from selling Laporte to us? I don't think Man City would have any issue selling to us.
No,
my question is, would Laporte want to come to us? That's my question.
Yeah.
Spurs, I'll tell you what, go and get it done. And then everyone can come in and go, you're in the mud. Cool. I'm in the mud, but I've got a quality centre back at my club. Brilliant. I'm happy. That's the mud I want to bathe in. But listen, guys, I do want to exactly. Oh, yes. I do want to end the show. I do want to end the show because we've been going far too long. Listen, thanks so much, guys. I've really enjoyed it. It's been some crazy times. Before I shut the show off, I've got 8 more super chats. So I need to go through them. So we start with Mr. Pox Office.
I love this one.
Who has said, the fact is that you're a waffler. Danny Kiriakou, back to you. Sava, big up to you, Mr. Pox Office. Donna Cullen has come in again and said, Mr. Butler flirting as part of PR, you and I. Harry Kane is back in the chat and said, Auntie Donna, can you tell Daniel to sell me, please? Good God, this is going to go on, isn't it?
It's the same person. I love it.
Rooksy Pop, big up Rooksy Pop, always been a big supporter since I started this channel. Said, is Arsenal beating City to a trophy a statement?
No.
I don't believe so.
No
if
way.
I'm really honest, I heard this last year when Man City lost the Charity Shield, and everyone said that Haaland was going to be a flop and he couldn't hack it, and then the rest is history. They won a treble. Can Arsenal do it over the season? Just a girl who loves Spurs, Kate, said, an absolutely fantastic show, gents, except for Nick. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I might have already read that one out. TF Swag has said, my view on Levy, my view on Levy will be based on what happens about Longley.
I can agree with that.
Fair enough. I agree. Fair enough. And the last two, Jim, Sava, Alan needs to get off to school. It's too late.
I'm not that young. I'm closer to 40 than school. Yeah.
He's older than me.
I'm more worried about him not being allowed to normally stream in the evening, so he's going to get beaten by his missus.
Hashtag mustard wall.
She watches. That's how, yeah.
Yeah. And Condino Abdallah, big up to you, has said, you can take Laporte off of us for 40 to 50 million fair. Listen, I'd pay 40, 50 million for him. Absolutely.
100%.
Go back to what I was saying. I'd love Spurs to sign this guy. This would be an amazing signing. Everyone, thank you. Alan, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, mate. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's been a crazy ride. Thank you. Please, everybody, go and subscribe to Alan at Time Added On. You know his show now. Big up to Barry. Thank you for staying awake for the entirety of the show. It's been a pleasure having you. Go over and subscribe to Shelf Side Spurs Show. Thank you very much. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate you coming on. Please go and subscribe to Ashmatic and Marlon at Southview Coy. Some really good videos with some real good analysis. Sean at Spurs Talk Show. Thank you for coming on, eating, drinking the whole way through, shouting at me, not letting me provide my context. Thank you, Sean.
I told you what was going to happen, mate. I told you. I know.
I've loved
what
it.
was coming.
I've loved
He's
every
just
minute
wiping
of
the
it.
popcorn off his top as well. It's like
Saba, am I wrong or right? I gave you the option to not include me tonight. I said, Saba, I'm going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Do you want me on or not?
Saba, he's ready for round two.
You were a focal point of the show, and I was like, that's a problem for you, bro, not a problem for me.
Jesus Christ.
Am I wrong or am I right?
And last but not least, he was only 2 hours, 45 minutes late, but he did turn up. Danny Kiriakou, thanks for coming on Flip Flop. We've really enjoyed it. And thank you. Go and subscribe to Danny, Ben, and Brian Daigle at Tottenham on Tour. Subscribe to all the Spurs shows. It doesn't matter if you listen, subscribe to all of them. Get a good feel for everybody and blah, blah, blah. And everyone stop trying to create hate and divide between all the YouTube channels. They all speak to each other. We all speak to each other. Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs. See you later.
Bye-bye.